mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle, mind over matter, get the gold medal.
Welcome to the place where dreams come true, where everything you want can be yours, if and only if you're willing to work for them, you're willing to hurt for them, but most of all, you're willing to be first for them. Ha! Look, I'm going straight to the top. I don't know how I would stop, like it or not. I got some goals that I'm hitting. You hear what I'm spitting? It's hot. Look what I got. Whole lot of passion and pain. The road to success is insane. Stay out my lane, cause I'm on a mission. I'm getting what stands in my way. Yeah, I'm a beast. I wouldn't play with me, baby. The way that I'm training is crazy, and I do it daily. You wanna talk about drive? I got more drive than Mercedes. I've never been lazy. I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete? Well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Ha. Yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Ha. Yeah, I gotta be first. Look, I don't want anyone's sympathy. I understand what is meant for me. I give my focus and energy. If it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. But mentally, I'm undefeated. They hear that and say I'm conceited, like there's no reason. Like I don't beat them and come back again just to teach them that when you work under pressure, you reach higher measures. They'll try and bring you down, but you cannot let them, and only get better and focus on cheddar. Eye on the prize and you'll become a legend. Like, when I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete? Well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Ha. Yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Ha. Yeah, I gotta be first. They don't know what's gotten into me, how'd I turn pain into energy. Through all the struggle and hurt, remember my worth, and that's why I gotta be first. Welcome to the place where dreams come true, where everything you want can be yours, if and only if you're willing to work for them, you're willing to hurt for them, but most of all, you're willing to be first for them. Ha. Look, I'm going straight to the top. I don't know how I would stop, like it or not. I got some goals that I'm hitting. You hear what I'm spitting? It's hot. Look what I got. Whole lot of passion and pain. The road to success is insane. Stay out my lane, cause I'm on a mission. I'm getting what stands in my way. Yeah, I'm a beast. I wouldn't play with me, baby. The way that I'm training is crazy, and I do it daily. You wanna talk about drive? I got more drive than Mercedes. I've never been lazy. I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete? Well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Ha. Yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Ha. Yeah, I gotta be first. Look, I don't want anyone's sympathy. I understand what is meant for me. I give my focus and energy. If it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. But mentally, I'm undefeated. They hear that and say I'm conceited, like there's no reason. Like I don't beat them and come back again just to teach them that when you work under pressure you reach higher measures. They'll try and bring you down, but you cannot let them, and only get better and focus on cheddar. Eye on the prize and you'll become a legend. Like, when I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete, well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Yeah, I gotta be first. They don't know what's gotten into me, how'd I turn pain into energy. Through all the struggle and hurt, remember my worth, and that's why I gotta be first.
Look at my shine with the glow. This is my time with it though. This is my time to be way at the top. Me and my guys gon' pay out the block. I don't look like boss. Time's right, and I know they see us walking in the limelight. Promise you gon' wanna watch like a sci-fi. My guys are high risers, high tide. My crown if you come to my side. I pledge allegiance for lifetime. My squad connected like Wi-Fi. We grind and you see the highlights. This my life. It ain't a game now. Me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way. You wasn't invited. Say you come to play. I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me. Then step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Game now, me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way, you wasn't invited. Say you come to play, I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me, then step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way, yeah, yeah. Out of the way, yeah, yeah. Out of the way.
Just wait and see, yeah. The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming and Monster Energy.
Won't stop going till a player on top know it. Rooftop penthouse suite. If you really want it, gotta own it. Fight through it, we was at the lowest. Blood, sweat, tears, the components. Riding all year, now's the moment. We are not afraid, we are opponents. Yeah, I'm coming for mine. Yeah, I'm making a play, the game on the line. Yeah, I've been on the grind. Yeah, jump in the spot, I made it my time. Yeah, look in the sky. Yeah, the stars align, no shade to shine. Can't stop it already. Emotional work and devotion, we put in this time. Look, you won't stop.
Welcome to the FreeFire Snapdragon Pro Series. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is day number 2 of the Open Finals. My name's AJ. I'm the Mustachio down here with the one and only Dan Lee to bring you guys the broadcast of the day.
AJ, you were so excited, right? You started before we were on the screen. You had to hold yourself back because if you started too soon, I think it would have been a little bit funny. But, oh man, it's good to be back. It's day 2. We've gone through 6 matches yesterday. We do have the teams in their positions currently on that leaderboard.
Yep.
But I think both of us were looking forward to that day 2 change, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's a brand new day. Anything goes. And we have to wonder, is there going to be a comeback today?
Absolutely, right? Comeback or super consistency, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all of the effort out there is because they are fighting for a 10,000 Singapore dollar prize pool in the house. 3,000 Sing dollars for the ones that pick up that number 1 spot and 2,000 Sing dollars for those who get that second spot. Third place gets 1,000 Sing dollars and the rest are split for those, of course, who wrap up all the way down until the 18th spot. We've got our top 12 in the grand finals already, and it seems to be a situation where the fight just kept getting a little hotter and hotter each and every single matches that we took on.
And AJ, I think you did also forget about that secondary prize that these teams kind of get, right, on top of this money. The secondary prize, we'll talk about it a little bit later on because we've got the point system here. So as you can see, this is the point system that we've ran with yesterday and we'll continue on with today. As usual, we're going to be giving it 12 points to the team that secures the booyah during the round. Second place will get 9, third will get 8 points, and then as you go down you'll get less and less points up until 11th and 12th, where if you wind up down here you unfortunately will take home 0 placement points, but you can always offset with those kill points, right?
Absolutely,
every kill is going to equate to a single point, and kill points have been rather crucial for some of these teams in the middle of the bracket because those are extra points on top of your placement.
Yeah, and you know, for teams who are not really getting towards that final circle, who get a little aggressive in the earlier stages of the game, it doesn't mean they lose out on a lot because they get to, you know, hang on with all of those kill points, right? But you can't really depend purely on kills. You cannot depend purely on those placement points. You need to get a good balance of both, especially on a setup where you just do not have any revives available.
Absolutely. So we're going to be jumping to our maps for today, and it's going to be exactly the same as yesterday. Exact same order. So we'll start off with Bermuda, followed by Kalahari, and then we'll be jumping into Purgatory, and then we're going to rinse and repeat back onto Bermuda, then Kalahari, and then finally Purgatory. And after Purgatory, we will crown our champion, which is going to be so exciting for today. But very quickly, we also do need to reiterate that the teams currently are participating for a prize pool, but additionally, the teams are aiming for top 6. And speaking of teams, here is the overall standings from yesterday's matches. And as you can see up top, we have Anxiety sitting on 83 points, 13 points ahead of K9 Esports, who are sitting in second place. GM Remy in third place with 60 points, and AKA Ultraman with 58. Those are our top 4 teams who have been performing rather consistently yesterday, AJ.
Absolutely. Divine and Wasik Philippines, they're not too far away from that number 1 spot. One solid boost Booyah can put them right back in the running. And the same can be said for EVA Continue as well as Who's Next Kalasag Philippines, albeit they might just need a little bit more than a single solid Booyah. But we've got 6 rounds to play, so there is most definitely a chance for those teams to climb their way up without a doubt whatsoever. Hard to get in that 9th spot. Legion Alpha, ORB Tyrants and Orange Esports surprisingly wrap up the leaderboard at the very bottom. Now, to see a Malaysian team in the name of Orange Esports in the 12th spot is most definitely a shocker. But if the first day grand finals jitters were there, then perhaps they're a little bit more settled into, blasted up on the battlefield in a little bit.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, especially the Orange Esports fans, they've got to be quite shocked after their performance yesterday. And I mean, what do you think happened, AJ? Because we saw all the matches, and sometimes it felt like it was just a case of them being unlucky, wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah.
And then at other times, it just felt like Orange Esports was outplayed in general. Like, what do you think really happened yesterday?
I feel like they were one of the teams that truly struggled with their drop spots, right? Because every single time they wanted to hunt for a new place, they found someone else there.
Yeah.
But if we look at the history, it just seems like Orange Esports haven't really, I guess, secured their perfect drop spots just yet, which is quite funny because they've already played the 4 days of the league stage, right? So perhaps not a lot of attention was paid there, but after 1 day of whooping, perhaps they have learned their lessons and brought all of those studies back in. K9 Esports, yep, in the 2nd place at the very moment with a single Booyah on their side. With a lineup of Marquee, Domain, Blank, Wuxi, Pain, as well as Superman. They might not be the most dangerous team out there on the battlefield with their kills in the competition so far in comparison to the others in the top 4, but what they do know is how to get those placement points. They've got 42, which is the most in comparison to any of the teams out there.
I mean, you're saying they're not dangerous, but I think they did rather well yesterday to deserve that
just
second
not deadly
place.
on the gunfights. I mean, they disengage, they try to stay silent as much as possible, leaning towards the placement points. It is a little bit dangerous to just keep that purely as the strategy, but if that was just purely their day 1 strategy and they're keeping all of the aggression for day 2, I think it's perfect, right? Because that puts them in a really, really good position to grab the victory.
Yeah, and now, of course, we have Anxiety on the screen here. This is the team that's currently sitting in 1st place, who's taken home 2 Booyahs thus far. And if anything, all eyes are on this team. We have Dyron, Chessman, Kanoho, Barbara, and Toby. And I think a lot of people, it seems the Filipinos, they were aware of Anxiety being a threat. For people that followed this team during the group stage, they placed 6th, which is, if you think about it, 6th at the middle of the pack. It's a team that's there.
Yeah.
They can be threatening, but you wouldn't expect this 6th place team to actually be this strong going into the grand finals.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at purely the numbers, you might not. But if you look at the individual players themselves, and if you are a person that has been following the FreeFire esports scene for a long time, you would know that these are all veteran players who have the capability to get it done out there on the battlefield, especially the one and only Chessman, right? He has been such an integral part of setting up so many of those gunfights during the league stages. At the grand finals, he's not the one that grabs the most kills. It is Barba who steps up to that spot alongside Toby, but Chessman is still the guy who manages to cover them most of those times from those long range engagements and give them those suppressive fires, right? So Anxiety in every single way, might have been the team that could have taken it all the way from day number 1, but they seem to have, just kept a low profile during the league stage, and that's what's shocking. But on top of them, of course, performing or outperforming themselves during the finals, other teams like AKO Ultimate also showed us a lot of weakness during day number 1 of the grand finals, and that was most definitely shocking.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about AKO a bit later, because I do think this is a team we also need to look at.
Oh yeah.
But let's take a look at GM Remy. This is our 3rd place team currently on the leaderboard. They were sitting in 2nd place for a while until K9 came into the picture. But of course, we have Ritus, Furher, Aguila, Raymil, and Unknown on this team. So let's talk a little bit about GM Remy, because I know yesterday, in particular, for the first 4 matches, it looked like it was a very big race between GM Remy as well as Anxiety. It was these 2 teams to lead the way, and then all of a sudden, for the last 2 games, I think both teams, I'm not sure if it was exhaustion or maybe the other team sort of picked up on how they play, their drop zones, how they path, but how are you feeling about GM Remy? Because we've seen a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
We know that they're very aggressive. They like to make these moves. Do you think that's the same with Remy? Like, do these teams have a lot in common?
I think GM Remy and K9 Esports have more in common than them, as well as anxiety, because where they are most similar is the fact that they are not really hard hitting out there on the battlefield, right? Most definitely one of the harder hitters in the competition overall, but we are looking for the team that can grab the championship at the end of the day, right? And GM Remy, unfortunately, based on day number one's performance, are just not exact same thing that I mentioned for K9 Esports can apply here as well.
Yeah.
If that is purely their day one strategy to get themselves guaranteed points, because when you play for kills, you cannot guarantee anything for yourself.
Yeah.
Getting eliminated early it's not in your hands, right? It's all up to luck. You might get third party, you might get fourth party. It doesn't matter, but you cannot guarantee it. Playing for placements, you guarantee those points, and then you get to flare out a little bit on day number two. So I feel like all of these teams that are using that strategy so far can't really be counted out just yet. So anxiety, better watch out.
Yeah, anxiety, do better watch out. And I do believe we're going to jump into our first game very quickly here, AJ. But before that, of course, we do need to give a shout out to all of our social medias. Now, of course, if you want to share your thoughts on socials, make sure you use the hashtag Snapdragon Pro Series because on stream. And if you have a question for us, we might be able to answer it.
Absolutely. So do not feel shy. Please feel free to share all of your thoughts. Share this broadcast.
Look, feel free to ask AJ how to maintain that amazing mustache. I think if you want advice, this is the best guy to ask.
Well, ask me the question and I'll give you my answer later on. If you want to share your predictions with us, like how we are throwing predictions out there as to who might be able to step it up, please jump on onto our Twitch channel where you will be able to do exactly that.
Oh, man. So we're going to jump into our first game right now. We're going to be going into Bermuda. Let's see if it's going to be the top dogs conquering this match or if we might be seeing some of the underdogs creep on through here, AJ.
Well, let's see exactly that, Danley, because as the flight path cuts us through Bermuda in game number one, it looks like all of the teams are going to maintain their discipline to avoid all of those early combat, with Orange Esports picking up Clock Tower once again. If they are lucky like yesterday, that circle will come hunting for them. But if they are not, then they will be forced out of their compound early. And from what we know based on day number one's data of the grand finals, Orange Esports aren't that proficient in terms of rotation. They keep getting caught out.
Yeah. And it looks like no hot drops for today. So I was sort of expecting, or at least thinking, is there going to be some shenanigans? Because I think some teams, they don't really have that much to lose.
Yeah.
And if you never try, you never know. Sometimes it does work out. It can be a bit of a coin flip depending on whether you can get the loot first or not.
Yeah.
So it's totally understandable that it doesn't happen, but looking at the drop points so far, if anything, GM Remy are going to be in such a good position, right? They've got the amazing loot to work with. Is GM Remy going to change it up a little bit? Are they going to move away from that K9 playstyle and maybe transition more towards Anxiety's aggressive playstyle?
Yeah, I probably think not, right? Because Anxiety, if you ask me, is getting a little overconfident. And that's the main reason why we saw them bomb out in the final two matches of yesterday. And that overconfidence will not be taking you very far. Playing it safe, securing those guaranteed points for yourself, on the other hand, most definitely will take you the distance. Especially, once again, I hate to go on like a broken tape recorder, but we've turned off the revival system, and that's a huge change. It's a huge change in terms of the competitive scene, and these players just need to adjust with that. And turning the revival system off just results in slow-paced matchups like these.
It's to be expected. I mean, everyone got used to the revival system pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So to have it switched off again, it's
so to have them hot drop and go and hunt for that kill. I mean, we have to see, right? Who's at the very bottom? Orange Esports. Orange Esports can't even sustain a battle, when they don't try to hot drop anyone, let alone trying to go and attack someone. Who are they going to attack, right? Because they are the bottom feeders at the moment. If anything, they have to attack themselves. So that's not going to happen. You want to take a chance against ORV. ORV Tyrants are quite solid in the competition as well, albeit they are struggling. But, you just can't take those chances. Speaking of ORV, they pop up on the screen. But, teams like Team Legion, on the other hand, who's sitting down in the 10th spot so far, we're giving all of these bottom three teams the highlight on the broadcast right now. And I don't want to sound mean, but it's mainly because they don't really sustain out there on the battlefield all that too long, and that's something that they really have to look into.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a case of just Legion not being able to comfortably take those fights against those other teams, because we also need to understand that there is going to be a skill gap between some of the teams, right? Like the top teams, they are top teams for a reason, because they're able to comfortably take fights and are confident in their skills, whereas some of the newer teams or less experienced teams, they don't have that same level of confidence, and sometimes for them, it's a case of they just get the lucky headshot.
Yeah.
So
And,
it's
and that's the unfortunate point about Orange Esports, isn't it? Because they are all veteran players. So, no idea, absolutely no idea what's going on
for
there.
all we know, they could be trying something different for the grand finals, right? They think, oh, okay, so what we did during the group stage is too predictable. Let's try and change things up.
Coach
and then
needs to get fired, right? I mean,
No.
who tries stuff out at the grand finals, Natalie? You got to
could
try
be-
it out during the league stages.
It could be the players. You
Yeah.
don't know who's making the call, right? So fire whoever's doing it. But I do want to see a change in Orange. I mean, I'm hoping they looked through the VODs yesterday to see where everyone's dropping, who's making
correct,
what moves.
exactly, yeah.
And heck, even if it means they change their drop spot so that they're not going to be stuck between something we actually should have noticed, and we did, is that I don't know how they do it. Probably unintentional, but their drop points are always between one of the top teams.
Yeah.
So they'll always run into Anxiety or GM Remy. And what can you really do?
I don't know if that's intentional, right? Because
No,
based on
I don't think it's intentional.
yeah, based
But
on their
it's just-
performance, like you would want to clear away from those top teams as best you can. But the players of Who's Next, Kalahari, Philippines, on the other hand, are not slowing down their pace at all. Once again, continuing with the storyline of yesterday, they ended the day on a high note, and they should be able to bring that momentum into day number 2 and smash it as well. But they are taking on Team Divine, who's not really struggling in the competition. It's going to be Zen OP that gets spotted out first. Hawkeye has not been able to take advantage just yet, Danley.
Yeah, I actually saw 3 teams nearby. I actually had a drive-by, but no one stopped. We could be looking at a 3-way here. It depends on whether or not these teams reveal their positions if they do decide to shoot. So it could be a little bit of a hairy situation. I think it's Legion? Yeah, Legion's on the
Newbie.
high ground.
Gets spotted out, all tagged up, but managing to hop into that house as quickly as he can,
Yep,
just
they
so
know.
that it doesn't get taken out of the equation. It's going to be the shotgun in Hawkeye's hands, but he needs to play this really safe to cut that distance down. A lot of those glue walls for the players of Who's Next, Kalahari, Philippines to play around with. So Yadop now taking the high ground. Zen OP fully tagged up, but pulls out the glue wall. He's not going to get taken out of the equation just yet. And Who's Next, Kalahari, Philippines just successfully managed to push the players of Divine into one small compound at the back of Katulistiwa. Now, they don't really have a lot of grenades to work with here, but if they did, the players of Divine would be in a lot of trouble here, Danley.
Oh, it looks like Divine, they're actually going to be sticking around that single compound, and they've basically been surrounded. I'm not sure if you really want to be stuck in this one place. I mean, all it takes is one well-placed grenade to land on 2-3 players. Hawkeye, so close. There's one knock, though.
And let's go, manages to get that knock. Mr. D from the back now, fires right back through. The SMG in hand, not gonna be able to take this shotgun player just yet, but Basic now with the backup as well. Let's go, takes down the glue wall, hunting for the players of Divine, one after the other, and Divine are taken out in the very first spot, sent up to see God immediately. And K9 Esports on the other hand,
Legion.
taking on the players of Legion, one after the other. K9 Esports, Payne managed to resurrect the player that was already down already, but Lay with the opportunity
2
once
down
again
on Legion.
manages to catch him once again, and Legion, they managed to strike right back. Payne taken out of the equation, all thanks to Orange Esports, who hop in and take advantage of the situation.
Oh my gosh, I hope we do get perspective. We need to see that. I mean, Orange is coming into play, but we don't know if there's a chase happening. We don't know what the follow-up is. All we know right now is that Legion are hurting, right? I think the team did not get eliminated. I'm expecting at least maybe 1 or 2 players left alive. K9, I think they may be left with 3 players, but we will take a look a little bit later on once we do get that top-down view. But so far, we're going to switch on over here to Who's Next, Kalahari and ORV, which these 2 teams are kind of stuck in a stalemate. No one's in a position to really do anything.
We do apologize for missing all of that crazy action off screen, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We will try to fix that the next time these players hop on into another battle.
Yadop.
Up right now. Yadop will be able to quickly hurry away, but hard step He's not on screen, managing to take that knock, and they fire right back to make sure Hardstep does not get the kill. Glue wall pulled out, and no kill for you, my friend. The player that he got knocked down, Yadop, the one and only, is just way too valuable for the players of Who's Next Kalahari Philippines to lose very early on.
Oh, a bit of a scary position though, because Anxiety is actually quite close. I'm not sure if they maybe heard the gunshots, but if they do, you know what Anxiety is going to do. They're going to come in, they want to play, but oh, Chessman, I think he's going to see this vehicle coming in.
Oh my God.
Oh, K9's eliminated.
Yeah, Wasik Philippines getting the job done. They pick up the pieces. It looks like K9 Esports managed to disengage and run away, only to end up in the safe hands of Wasik Philippines. Oh, yeah, nope. Down on the ground once again. Up noise strikes, but double glue wall alongside the time turner gets pulled out so that they can go in for the save. Yadop is going to get picked right back up, but they need to pull out another double glue wall to come back through. Yadop back on his feet, but the car ablaze. Hawkeye this time down on the ground. Hades Stab continues to pressure all of the players of Who's Next Kalahari Philippines.
Oh, and they stopped because it's GM Remy on the hill.
GG. One more grenade. Let's go. Down on the ground. Aguila should be able to secure this kill, and he most definitely does. Aguila now. Yadob taken out of the equation as well. And Who's Next Kalahari Philippines in the most unluckiest of position. But look at this. AKO Ultraman out of nowhere helps out the players of Who's Next by taking down Ramiel, distracting the players of GM Remy for just a second. And that second was more than enough for the players of Who's Next Kalahari Philippines to find a little bit of a defensive spot. Amazing stuff.
Man, there's a lot of action happening within such a small area. And of course, these teams, they do know the positioning of everyone now. GM Remy aware of where AKO is, and it looks like they're going to turn their attention down there instead.
Yeah.
So, looks like the fights are going to start splitting up, but I want to know what's happening with Who's Next Kalahari. Do they actually try and drive into GM Remy now, knowing that they're there? Or do they maybe turn around and go back for ORV?
I don't think they're going to turn around just yet, because if they step out of the defense,
Anxiety's there too, so I mean, I don't know where you even go.
Exactly, yeah. So they can't move out of their compound just yet. They will be waiting for the perfect time to strike.
AJ, compound? They're literally hiding behind a vehicle. That's all they've got.
No, they've got one small little house, I believe, they've hopped into. So that's going to give them a little bit of a cover from the players of GM Remy, as well as Anxiety, who's right behind them. But GM Remy is a little too busy with AKO Ultraman right now. AKO Ultraman really trying to take the fight up to them, and the circle comes hunting down for these two teams. And Who's Next Kalahari Philippines will be a part of this beautiful next safe zone as well. So that circle came hunting all the way down towards the southern side. Eva continue, on the other hand, just avoiding all of these engagements and sticking right by Bullseye.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at Insane from Hard to Get, he's gone shopping. He's finally back from the mall. He's like, guys, I got the link. I'm coming back. But yeah, very interesting that the majority of the competition is towards the southern side of the circle, whereas it's very quiet up north. So it'd be very interesting to see what happens once these northern teams actually come into the fold and also apply some aggression to these teams that are currently busy. But yeah, it looks like for now, AKO repositioning themselves. GM Remy's still on the other side, but I'm not quite sure if they can really do anything, right? The hill is a little bit too steep. They don't have any clear vision. But Orange Esports sticking their nose where they don't belong. Again, coming into a fight with the top teams.
Oh, and now with Orange Esports a little distracted, keeping their eyes on the players of AKO Ultraman, Wasik Philippines quickly slides into the equation as well. And Orange Esports now have to divide their attention, just like how AKO Ultraman had to divide their attention between Orange and GM Remy. This is a four-way standoff with Wasik Philippines potentially the ones who will be able to cause the biggest of damage to the players of Orange Esports, because AKO Ultraman will have their hands full. But AKO, look at this, they're storming the front. Ice grenade tossed out first. Rosso-X will need to reposition, but Wasik Philippines are watching all of these things break down quietly.
Oh, Orange, they basically barricaded themselves in this building. They do not want AKO to come in at all. And AKO, they did show their position, and Wasik are actually familiar with AKO. So, seems like Orange are going to stick around for a little bit longer, AJ, but I don't know for how long.
Let's see exactly how long is Orange
Deckers
Esports
is down.
Yep, they fire right back. Roy down on the ground. It is going to be Rosso-X with the Mag 7, but he could not pull that off. Rosso-X dropped onto the ground as well. Orange Esports, their defense is falling one after the other, and Wasik Philippines have jumped on into the battle to finish things off. But Invoker gets sprayed down. D-Course puts up one final fight, and he gets kill after kill alongside Jabat. Wasik Philippines, it was just a little bit too early, and they pay such a high price.
Oh, this is going to to be so costly. But Orange Esports, they are still in this. They've still got Decos, they've still got Jabat, so it might not be all dead for them yet. But okay, here's the question: who's in a better position here, War6 or Orange?
Neither, right? Both of them are not. Axel from outside, and he is in danger as well, because if he does not start moving right now, that circle is going to catch him off. That extra bit of pressure not going to do any one of these teams a lot of good at all. Yes, you are correct. 2 grenades. What an angle! But it does not get the toss in, and I believe that's a time turner pulled out as well. That grenade's not going to blow anyone just up just yet, and too slow. Just a little wasteful with those grenade uses. Tacular on the other side, waiting for those players to appear. Jumps back together with too slow to make use of that glue wall.
Yep, on the other side of the map though, Batman from Hard to Get actually got eliminated by GM Remy, so that's going to be a hard-hitting player for this team gone. We know what happens with Hard to Get when Batman's eliminated. They do tend to struggle to nab up these kills, and they've played very passively this round. So it'll be interesting to see how they do transition into this late game. But Raz from ORV going to be eliminated here by Chessman.
Yeah, excellent play.
Oh, Abnoy is the last man standing, but we're back here with War6 and Orange Esports. Uh-oh, we can't see this fight completely, and it looks like ORV, they get eliminated by Decos. Orange will survive.
And Wasik Philippines taken out of the equation as well, alongside Legion Alpha. One after the other, the players fall. But Chessman now down on the ground. It was the players of Anxiety who had the great play earlier on, and the foresight to make sure they turn around and shut down the players of ORV who were approaching one after the other. But Anxiety now, yes, tell me, Danley.
Orange are the kill leaders. They have 8 kills. Orange Esports, a team that fell from grace coming into the grand finals yesterday. We could be looking at a turnaround for this team, but they've only got 2 players left. We're going to switch back here over to Hard to Get instead. Will they be able to survive this engagement? It looks like they're not doing too badly.
Yeah, Orange Esports now losing 1 player, but there's no kill coming through just yet. But Chessman taken out of the equation. That puts Anxiety out of the equation for the Booyah, and they get taken out in the 5th spot. The players of Orange Esports still alive and kicking out there on the battlefield somewhere. Hawkeye for the side of Who's Next. Kalahari Philippines still alive and kicking. Hard to Get on the other hand, slowly climbing up the hill, healing themselves up one after the other, and the players of GM Remy right in front. Apologies as the players of Orange Esports got taken out with 16 points on the leaderboard. That's just an insane performance from their side at the very moment. Jay-Z, a quick turnaround as he tries to back away from the players of GM Remy, but doesn't really have much space to run away to. And Who's Next? Kalahari Philippines just waiting for the timing here, Danley.
They had to run forward. I saw that grenade coming in from GM Remy, but so far, Remy, they're going to try and go for this pickup here onto Hard to Get. Shira's down. Jay-Z goes down as well. It's going to be all up to Insane, but what can this one man do against an entire squad? Hard to Get in 3rd place. Oh my goodness. And now GM Remy, they're going to be here with Who's Next? Kalahari. Last person standing. You know, sometimes you just got to sit back, relax, let the competition kill each other, because that's going to be points in your team's pocket. But GM Remy flexing yet again. We know this is a team that was fantastic yesterday. I think the play that they had for Bermuda, it was great. They stuck their nose in a couple of fights, but they didn't overcommit. We saw some teams overcommit. They get punished and fully eliminated. So GM Remy, they're not too excited. They've reined it in for this game 1.
And that's what we were talking about early on as well, right? The strategy or the tactics out of GM Remy, playing the guaranteed points instead of some try-hard points. Now, what they did was constantly look for that final circle, stay safe, not engage with anyone, not go for any easy pickings. Trigger discipline really important here, and they managed to once again bring that consistency into the circle, and they are the ones to get the 3rd Booyah of the grand finals. Amazing stuff out of GM Remy, and the potential for them to now jump up and compete with Anxiety for the #1 spot.
Easy 12 points. I think that's the most important thing, right? So the kill points, that's just a bonus. You know, it doesn't matter. You get 12 points for getting that Booyah.
Yep.
But it was a bit of a shocker, actually, to not see Anxiety end up being in that top 3. I mean, after their performance yesterday, you would think that, this is someone you should be looking at, maybe AKO as well. But I think if there's a team I want to talk about, it was Orange. They had probably the toughest time that game, right? They were pincered in their compound against 2 teams. And somehow, some way, they were able to maneuver around all those glue walls and avoid all the grenades and take out all the competition.
Now, we missed quite a number of engagements on the side of
Yes.
Orange Esports. I don't know how they picked up 16 points for themselves, but, you know, if we are able to catch that on the highlight reel later on, I hope we are going to be able to break down some of those engagements, because that's a huge difference in comparison to what they were able to do yesterday. The whole day of play yesterday, they only picked up 10 kills from 6 rounds.
And so today, already, they've done much better than yesterday.
Yeah. And that's just insane, right? Because they managed to pick up a total of 30 points from 6 matches. And 20 of that came from placements, 10 came from kills.
Yeah.
So in just this one matchup alone, they've managed to most definitely outdo their performance from,
Over
I wouldn't
half.
say the whole day, but yes, more than half of those matches, right? So insane improvement, but consistency is key, because you cannot hit hard and then after kind of fall off for the rest of the 5th matches. So we will see what they've got in store for us. A quick short break. When we come back, round number 2 kicks off.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming and Monster Energy.
Welcome to the place where dreams come true. Where everything you want can be yours. If and only if you're willing to work for them. You're willing to hurt for them. But most of all, you're willing to be first for them. Ha! Look, I'm going straight to the top. I don't know how I would stop, like it or not. I got some goals that I'm hitting. You hear what I'm spitting? It's hot. Look what I got. Whole lot of passion and pain. The road to success is insane. Stay out my lane, cause I'm on a mission. I'm getting what stands in my way. Yeah, I'm a beast. I wouldn't play with you, baby. The way that I'm training is crazy, and I do it daily. You wanna talk about drive? I got more drive than Mercedes. I've never been lazy. I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete? Well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt. Push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test. Like we playing chess.
Welcome back to the FreeFire Snapdragon Pro Series. This is the Season 1 Open Finals, day number 2 of the Grand Finals to be specific. My name's AJ, I'm the Mustachio, down here with the one and only Danley, bringing you guys the broadcast of the day. And Booyah number 1 secured by GM Remy, the same team that managed to pull off 2 spectacular Booyahs yesterday. But from memory, we can tell that the last 2 matches weren't that great for GM Remy. So this is part of a comeback in the Grand Finals for them.
Is it really a comeback? I mean, they're already technically top 3, so the team
Back to their winning ways.
They're pretty comfortable. But if there's one thing to really look at for GM Remy, it's that they're the first team to secure 3 booyahs over the course of the weekend, which I think is also very significant. They've gotten a lot of their points from those placements, and if there's one thing we want to know, it's what's going on in their brain. It looks like we've got an interview with GM Remy. Let's see what Fura has to say.
What is the key to your consistency? You know, you have been consistent throughout the tournaments. Yesterday, 2 boya. Now you begins with 1 boya. So what is the key to your victory, to your success, to be consistent in this tournament?
I think the key is we have a better communication right now. That we're in one room, we have a better communication.
Exactly. I have been saying this, that you guys need to be in one room so you guys will have a easier communication with each other. But okay, you guys did not change your strategy, which is blue zone, blue zone, blue zone. I just want to know what happened if GM Remy did not get a blue zone. Is there any like a different strategy that you guys going to show off?
Yeah.
We'll just adjust our strategy, and we'll probably do our best to be on the top spot, even though we didn't get the blue zone.
But I just want to know, since you guys always prioritize blue zone, if the location have another team, will you guys still land in the blue zone, or you guys going to change to other location?
We'll probably engage.
Remember, so to all the teams, remember, if you are fighting for blue zone, you guys going to see GM Remy. Alright, GM Remy, is there any words that you want to say to your fans, or maybe to say to your opponents for the next match?
Shout out to all our fans and viewers of the Snapdragon Pro Series. And special shout out to our manager, Ate Abby, Unknown, and Tanamo. So guys.
So yeah.
Nice.
Alright, all the best, GM Remy, all the best, Fura, and
all
the
best.
team.
Good luck.
Good luck, and get ready.
I'm going to make a statement, and a very bold one, okay?
Tell me.
They didn't shout out their girlfriends, so I think this is not going to be a good game.
No,
It's... Go on.
Okay. I mean, yes, I will play along with the joke. Maybe, right? But we got to look at strategy. And I love, I have to say, teams that really respect the basic rule of battle royales. The game of survival, right? Survive to that final circle. No matter what you do, that's going to be priority number 1. And that's after that only do you actually engage, right? Because once again, you've got to secure the guaranteed points for yourself. And GM Remy, they're playing the right matter. They're playing the right strategy all the way to the end. And that clearly shows through their performance. But some of the other teams in the competition, they show that they've got the exact same quality as well, but with inconsistency. And this is just such a... It's not so difficult to understand. Why? Because, you see, for example, hard-hitting teams like AKO Ultraman, they can do so well under the Garena circuit, but that is because they get to continuously revive their players. But now, they can't take that extra bit of risk. So the players that dare to go the distance will be able to grab the most.
Yeah, well, I think we also need to take into consideration for that round. GM Remy also had the blue zone when they dropped in, right?
Yes,
So
as they always do.
Yeah, so the fact that they're focusing on this blue zone, wouldn't you think these other teams are going to start picking up on this and maybe try and contest GM Remy for that blue zone? Because you can't just simply let a team have it for free all the time. It almost feels like you're basically giving away free things. Why should they have the nice things? Why can't the other teams have the nice things?
That is true, because then you guarantee a hot drop with GM Remy, and we see how GM Remy has performed in the competition so far. And without a revival system in play, you know someone's going to be there. Do you want to be that team that takes the hot drop? Like from what we have seen yesterday and today, the discipline from all of these teams are spectacular, right? All of them avoiding those hot drops as best as possible. So based on that, I think no one's going to try it just yet.
Okay. Now, before we jump into our next round, which is going to be on Kalahari, here are the round 1 standings for the match that we just witnessed. So as you can see, GM Remy going to be sitting up top, nice and pretty, with 22 points, 12 of those placement points and 10 kill points. Orange Esports, on the other hand, yes, they didn't get second place, but with those 9 kills under their belt, they're going to be sitting in second with 16 points, which for this team, it is very significant because as of now, or at least before this, Orange Esports was at the bottom of the bracket, dead last after their performance yesterday. But 16 points, I think this is over half of what they earned yesterday already from round 1.
Yep, absolutely right. And Orange Esports managing to get the 9 kills. Once again, whole day, only 10 kills. Like in round number 1 itself, they have outdone themselves, no doubt whatsoever. 7 placement points is decent for a team that couldn't really find the top 3 in any of those games, right? Because they kept bombing out. Even when they were playing the game of survival, they couldn't pick up any of those kills. They were really unlucky to a certain degree because they kept dropping in between 2 different teams again and again, and losing player very early on in the matches really disabled them to show any sort of ferocity on the battlefield at all. So a great start for Orange Esports. Hopefully they can keep that up. Who's next? Kalahari Philippines, continuing that momentum from yesterday to bring it in today as well, but purely from the placement points perspective, right? Because kills wise, they didn't really hit hard. But GM Remy taking the path of efficiency. 10 kills from 4,341 damage. Now, wouldn't you say that's a little low in terms of damage, right? So this is where efficiency really comes in. Lesser number of bullets, lesser number of shots released in order to get all of those kills onto their side in terms of points, which shows exactly how dangerous GM Remy is as a squad out there.
Now let's take a look at the overall standings to see where all these teams are currently at in terms of placements. Now, as you can see, Anxiety will remain in top spot with that 92 points. But GM Remy, they will overtake K9 Esports because, as we saw in that last round, K9, I hate to say it, the team bombed out. They came second last. I think they only ended the round with a single point, which for them, it's not a great way to start the day. So I think, if anything, GM Remy happy to take that second place back. AKO Ultraman will remain in that 4th place, as unfortunately this team also didn't really manage to pick up that much that round.
Not a lot, but still a lot of possibilities here, because AKO Ultraman, they were pincered down in a situation where Wasik Philippines could attack from the back, and that situation kind of broke down a little too unfortunate, right? Because AKO was going in for the finisher. They didn't expect Wasik to jump them. So hopefully we can see that sort of a rivalry continue on with the next matchup. That's going to make the grand finals a little bit more exciting. Who's next? Kalahari Philippines in the 6th spot, right behind Wasik Philippines, and they are in here with 53 points, just 4 points behind Wasik, right? So as you can see, there's not really a lot of points between all of these teams. Once again, a solid round, a solid good round, followed by a decent round right after, can really launch you up the leaderboard.
I'd say just a booyah for these middle teams, right? But guess who's in 8th spot? It's Orange Esports. They were originally in 12th spot, so they were able to rocket their way into that 8th position. The question here, are we looking at the comeback of Orange Esports? We're going to find out right now, because we are going to be heading into the desert landscape here of Kalahari. Can orange trees grow in the desert? We're about to find out.
We will see exactly that, right? And if orange trees do manage to grow in this desert, I am going to be very, very shocked with this team, because after bombing out on a whole day, they...
Hot drops, give me some hot drops. Come on, we're in Kalahari. This is the hottest map that's in existence. It just makes sense for us to have a hot drop. I'm kind of looking towards that bottom right section. Is this a hot drop?
No, not a hot drop. I mean,
kind of
hot drop.
No, I think it is. They're running towards them.
Stone Ridge is quite big, and the players of Who's Next Kalahari Philippines can back away here. It doesn't look like Divine wants to take a early battle, and you did mention Wasik Philippines. I don't think I see those players just yet, but ORV out of nowhere now, dropping right on top of the players of Who's Next Kalahari Philippines. Now, I don't think this is intentional. Could be a little bit of a bug on that minimap earlier on because it doesn't seem to be the situation when we take a look at this corner of Stone Ridge. But the players of Divine will go ahead to back away ever so slowly as they now understand that Who's Next Kalahari Philippines are right hot on their heels.
Yeah, this one's a bit of an interesting place to fight, right? Because there is a lot of elevation. So whoever has that high ground tends to have the advantage, but we also need to consider whether these teams got the loot that they're looking for, right? Because sometimes you just don't get the right guns, and if you have the wrong guns, it puts you at a massive disadvantage in these early skirmishes. But so far, seems like everyone's pretty well equipped. We're not really looking at anyone that's running naked, as you could say.
Yeah, absolutely, right. And, you know, picking up the shotguns and only a shotgun in a battle like this would be the death of you because you then need to wait for all of your opponents to close that distance before you can make any sort of impact. Picking up those assault rifles, on the other hand, will do them a lot of good. So with that, you can say that the players of Divine are in a better position. But Newbie now turning around to fire right back, does not catch anybody because the guy is just a tad bit too slow. Hawkeye, on the other hand, catching out 2 players, will get tagged up by that ice grenade and has to reposition, and that quickly takes him away from his offensive position.
Bit of an ugly spot to be in, but Newbie, I'm not sure what's going on here. Is he baiting for the team? Because he's the only one here.
Yeah, I think he's pulling off the right-hand side flank, but he's running out of time here because Newbie only has got 2 more glue walls left on his side, and I don't think he had any one of those grenades.
Hawkeye? Oh.
The glue wall running out of that resistance there is going to get taken down with another couple of shots being thrown right in. Wasik Philippines, on the other hand, engaging with the players of ORV. With Eva continue just watching beyond the horizon. Just take a look at the top left-hand corner on the smaller screen there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Jampong is dead. First player to go down, and it's going to be from Wasix.
Spectacular with the spectacular attack once again. One of the most improved players from the league stage heading into the grand finals. He most definitely knows how to make a impression on all of these other teams and players. Who's Next Kalahari Philippines sticking together as one squad. They better hope and pray that they do not see any grenades from the side of Divine. Zenop very quickly and sneakily sneaks behind a boulder, not to be spotted. The left-hand side flank might just be the death of the players of Who's Next Kalahari.
It might be, but do they really want to commit to this? It's a single grenade, right? I mean, if you want to make this kind of play and you have 1 grenade, this is such a high-risk, high-reward play.
Yep. If he uses that grenade, I mean.
Well, if it lands, right? That's the most important thing. If it doesn't land, he gives away his position, and they know he's alone. So, a little bit of a scary spot to be, but couple shots being thrown out so far, but no drops. Both teams being very patient. And Newbie, I'm very sure he's got no glue walls left, so he's actually just going to try and go for a run.
Yep, Captain Mr. D is already down on the ground. No one's there to save him just yet. Zenope pulls out the time turner, but Basic makes quick work of him. Who's next? Kalahari Philippines putting it down the players of Divine one after the other, and they are your new kill leaders. Shura gets spotted out as he runs straight into Yado. Basic can flank him out, but there's no positioning coming through from him just yet. But Hawkeye has got his eyes on him, but what a play by Shura, who manages to disengage and reposition, hiding away from all of these players. And Hawkeye now climbing up on top, finishes off the final player. Shura and Divine get taken out in the 12th spot.
Yeah, not able to be sneaky enough to make that play with that grenade, and unfortunately going to be the first team to bomb out. They do take 1 kill home, but still, you're finishing the round with a single point.
Yeah, I'm so confused with what Divine was trying to do with that play, right? I mean, first we saw Newbie trying to flank from the right-hand side with just purely his glue wall, no pressure whatsoever. He just lost glue wall after glue wall and then became a useless player. They lost Mr. D, their captain, their in-game leader. Things just went south for the players of Divine in that engagement. But Orange Esports, on the other hand, on the road to a comeback here, but they take on Anxiety, the ones who are leading the leaderboard at the very moment. Rosso X with the backstab. Kanoho manages to get away, but tag from the back. Chessman drops Storm. Rosso X getting the deed done. Rosso, can he survive now as he gets attacked by Barba as well as Toby from up top? Rosso X once again, but Barba calls that out, puts him down onto the ground. And it's not today that Orange Esports gets to catch up the players of Anxiety. Anxiety, all 4 players right back up on their feet. And Orange Esports about to be turned into orange juice, but not before Tom has the last say. Mag 7 for the bomb, gets the 2 kills as well. Tom still survives. surviving. Final player on the side of Orange Esports, but he has lost every other single player. But the trade for 2 players on the side of Anxiety is one that he will be pleased with. Barba spots Tom out. Tom doesn't get him. That Mag 7 gonna be a little bit too spicy, and Barba knows that. Grenade being charged up by Tom. Tosses it in, will not get it, and that is one more grenade on his side, and he runs straight into the danger zone.
Why not? I think sometimes you just gotta go, JJ. You gotta get in there. If you're Anxiety, I think you just disengage. You leave him alone.
This is God level strategy from Tom, but he runs straight into the hands of AKO Ultraman. Danger zone clears. AKO Ultraman. I don't know if they've got that information just yet. Xroy now up into that watchtower. He will be able to catch out Tom if he does step out of his defenses.
I don't think he knows.
Yep,
No.
he's looking the other way. Tom just needs to stay silent here.
Just stay nice and quiet. They might actually be able to spot out Anxiety. We'll have to find out. But oh, instead, GM Remy looking for kills themselves. This time on to Who's Next Kalasag.
Who's Next Kalasag Philippines have already managed to loot up all of the players that they took down earlier on, and I don't think they want to pause. Divine was a quick and easy meal for the players of Who's Next to pick up. Hawkeye getting tagged up by Aguila. Great positioning from Aguila. Yado down on the ground. Wasn't able to respond to Aguila in time. And now the finisher perhaps coming through from Aguila. Yado taken out by Remiel. The combo between Remiel and Aguila still too good. And GM Remy going in for the shutdown now. Hawkeye taken down onto the ground as well. Who's Next Kalasag Philippines? Perhaps their time is up outside of the circle. Basic now leaving all of the rest of the players on the side of GM Remy to play the game of survival. And he calls the right move here as he runs away into Stone Ridge.
Oh, man. I mean, this is probably the most basic play, right? If your team is gone and you can get out, just get out of there. So basic and have to play for those placement points. It's going to be a tough one. I mean, but we have seen players be able to pull it off. They've just got to make sure they find the right way to enter into that next circle. Instead, we're going to switch on over here to our next 2 teams. We've got K9 on the low ground and AKO nearby. But do they know that AKO is here?
AKO Ultraman holding on to the high ground, but
Normain.
one step higher than them is Hades' step. No pun intended.
Is that another player?
Yeah.
2 of them.
Normain now has got the grappling hook.
Oh,
Nice grapple straight into. Oh no! He takes the level right on top of them. This is a 3-way stack between 3 teams. What a play, Normain! And now he has got the bird's eye view, the king bird's eye view here above them all. Batman now taking Hades' step. Hades' step drops down to the ground floor, and he will be replaced by another player. This is the most craziest stack on a tower that I've seen. ORB Titans taken out of the equation, and unfortunately, Hades' step, the guy that just got evacuated, also made that exit right back to the lobby to join the rest of his players. Normain now has got the farmers in hand. Insane all spotted out from the side of Hart to get. He sprays him up, and he has that opportunity, but Xroy from the back. It will be AKO Ultraman to steal that kill away. They were the ones to get that knock, so that's all fair and dandy, but Normain will be quite salty with that.
And actually, we did see a player on the side of Hard to get eliminated. I believe it was Shura. So Hard to get, or also losing another player. Who's Next Kalasag, though, going to be eliminated. But K9 going to run into AKO here. Is this going to be a... They're very, very... They're clumped up together, AJ. I don't think they're getting out of this.
Yeah, Normain just had a terrible play there. He did not have any eyes on his players at all. He had the high ground, but could not give the cover. This is a terrible breakdown on the side of K9 Esports in terms of communication. The players of K9 Esports should have been in terms of the front of that building instead of the side. And Normain just did not have the vision. AKO Ultraman taking advantage, and the Axel was in a better position to provide all of that cover with where he was holding on to. K9 Esports a little unfortunate with that setup.
This is hilarious. It's like all these teams wanting to go bungee jumping or something. I've never seen this many players occupy the tower before. It's brilliant.
Let's see if or not they can make good use of it, because earlier on Hades' step that got evicted by Batman.
Okay, hang on.
Who did quite a good job grappling all the way up onto the 2nd floor and managing to shove him out thanks to the Mag 7 that Batman had in hand. I mean, that's one of the best shotguns you can have in the game right now if you really want to spray and pray, right? You want that auto shotgun on your side. GM Remy making their way in towards the next circle as well. Once again, playing the way of those safe plays. And the strategy has proven to be the success story for GM Remy so far. And once again, with just 2 kills, they head on in for the 4th circle.
So now down to 9 teams remaining, 26 players. This is actually very fast paced for Kalahari. Like generally speaking, we'd have about 30, I want to say 36 players are still normally alive, but looks like things are moving very quickly as a lot of these teams did occupy the center of the map, right? Everyone's been losing these towers. We did see those big skirmishes already, so very interesting that we see.
Oh my lord!
Batman!
Delivery! It's AKO Ultraman! And Batman just got fried! The Vigilante could not face off against the 3-man setup on the side of AKO Ultraman. They have yet another to pick up from the side of K9 Esports up top, but Joey takes advantage from the back, but McRory steals away the kill. Joey not going to be too happy with that. Wasik Philippines a little salty now.
Where's McRory? They're just towards that southern section. So they are within reach, and I think AKO, they're not really in a position to catch out AKO here. So that was a very nice pick. Too fast! Invoker this time. So a lot of these teams are now able to snipe AKO.
AKO Ultraman not really in the best of spots right now. They
very
are,
open.
Yeah, they are the center of attention, although they're not at the center of the map. They do have the zip line to make their way away from this current situation, but that obviously puts them in a lot of trouble, in a lot of danger as well, to be sniped out of the air. And if you have got a person like Lemon perhaps hot on your tails, you might get a little lucky because the guy was just missing all of his shots.
Yeah, I think that was Forbids or Daymoon. We just see them on the low ground there very quickly on the map. But GM Remy, very quiet this game. They've gotten 2 kills thus far, and they also started this map in the blue zone. So they are fully loaded, ready to go. They're focusing again on those placement points, which it's worked so far. They're going to keep doing it. But are they going to pay for it? Chessman's rule. Do they see?
Playing the game of chess real well as usual, but he has lost Kanoho alongside Toby. So the one and only chessman in his own name, Jaboiwa, holds on to the top of that satellite tower, and he will play the game of patience. The rest of the players on the side of GM Remy will not be able to catch him just yet. Pan gets knocked down by the zone. A little unfortunate for my man Pan, but he has to deal with that and move a little bit faster in the future. AKO Ultraman now has the opportunity to retire the players of Wasik Philippines from this lobby. Let's see if they can catch hold of them, because Lemon already has that information.
Yeah, but they are being very patient. They are also currently kill leaders here as well with 6 kills to their name. So AKO looking very solid this round. We are hoping to see this team break into top 3 eventually, because they had such an amazing time during the group stage. It's been a shocker to not see them play outstandingly as well in that grand final. But of course, it's day 2.
Orange Esports joining this small gathering here as well. And Chessman, no trigger discipline though from Chessman. That's a little bit of a surprise, but now he gets a little bit of assistance from the back as well. We don't know who's shooting them up, but Chessman has a little bit of assistance now. Quickly repositions, grappling hook for the assistance as well. Yet another, and now he holds the position right above the players of GM Remy. But GM Remy did see him going in for that bunny hop with the assistance of that grappling hook. And Ramiel tries to cut off his access, but he does not catch up as quickly as he wants to. Tom taken out of the equation, and that is Fury to put him out of commission. 3 kills in here so far for the players of GM Remy. Anxiety, on the other hand, they are split off into 2 different sectors. Barba holding the southern side, and he have been left by Chessman, who has found the circle for himself. Can Barba survive now? He's got 21 of those glue walls collected, but nowhere to run.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's doing it on purpose, right? He thinks he might be safe with all these glue walls. So he's just like, I'm going to make a great wall while I run. Got all this protection in the world. I mean, it's probably the best play he can really make. Oh, JZ! Able to just avoid that. He's going to use everything that he can to try and survive. It's the last player, but hard to get. Now landing in 8th place. Unfortunate, but as normal, right? Last player, it's really hard to safely get into that final zone. As you can see, though, Normain still happy sitting on that tower. Very safe, right? Not really that easy to get up there unless we see another AKO 4-man grapple. Sorry, 3-man grapple to the top. But we actually got a knockdown there onto Forbids, and Forbids gets eliminated there by GM Remy Furher. Yeah,
GM Remy, as usual, striking late in the game. Daymoon down on the ground. The players of EVA continue chipping on in to assist him, but AKO Ultraman will find a personal vengeance to be executed out here. There was an engagement between them and Eva continuing the pass. That's sweet, sweet revenge executed right there on the battlefield. AKO Ultraman now. 7 kills in hand, looking for that booyah. McRory knocks down Barba. Anxiety out of the equation. And that was a collaboration between AKO Ultraman, but as well as another squad out there on the battlefield. K9 Esports, on the other hand, with Normain still up top, not moving a single inch.
So the majority of the team so far, they are sitting on the western
nice
side
one,
of that
Remy.
map. Very quiet, actually, for GM Remy, because Remy's on the eastern side, and there's no one here.
Yeah.
They basically have control so far. They don't have to worry about these teams. K9, Normain finally gets picked off there, this time by Roy. Even Continue also going to be landing in 4th place. GM Remy, 4 players alive. They are looking happy, content, whereas these teams that are up on the cliff, they're going to have to come down at some point, unless they can get the snipes up here. So AKO are on a timer.
Yeah, AKO are on a timer, but they are the ones who are going to be able to snipe out the players of Warsick Philippines. But they unfortunately focus on GM Remy. GM Remy focusing on Warsick. This is a 3-way battle that is not going any one of their way just yet. Tacula down at the bottom, grows out for the strike, and the players of AKO Ultraman will go on with the medic meta. That's just going to be one of their players. The other 2 hop on into the circle, trying to look for the kills. Roy down on the ground. AKO Ultraman taken out by the zone, and the same will happen for the players of Warsick Philippines as well as they engage with GM Remy. 2 more players, too slow. Final player, it's a 2v1. GM Remy should be able to secure this back-to-back. Booyah!
Someone needs to stop this team. They keep getting the blue zone drops within the beginning of the game. They're able to just get away with going into going into the last couple zones. No one's applying pressure to this team. Someone's got to stop them. It's like so far the games have been free.
Yeah.
Not literally, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, but GM Remy, right, once again proving the strategy of playing it nice and steady into the final circle before popping off, you know, manages to show that that is the winning strategy. And, you know, I cannot repeat it enough because not a lot of those teams out there on the battlefield understand the importance of survival. They think that, you know, they need to do battle. They need to pick off each and every single player that they do spot out on the battlefield. GM Remy is the perfect example of a team that understands what trigger discipline is. And taking all of these engagements very much later in the game, focusing on their positioning as well as their placement points, gets them the distance. And now Booyah number 4, back-to-back Booyah on day number 2 of the Grand Finals.
Oh my goodness.
GM Remy needed 10 points to catch up with Anxiety. Anxiety kind of bombed out a little bit much earlier than them. So most definitely now, they should have been able to move into the number 1 spot.
I think Anxiety finished, I think, in 6th place. Like 5th or 6th. They weren't that far in.
Yeah. To GM Remy, it shouldn't matter, right? Because of the number of kills they picked up at the very end.
Well, exactly, right? I mean, they're always going to guarantee those kills if you go late. But wow, how do we stop this team?
I don't know how we stop this team, but if you guys want to go out there and win, when winning truly matters, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's exactly when you lean on our sponsors, Snapdragon Elite Gaming. And if you want to unleash the beast within, then we've got our co-sponsors as well, the one and only Monster Energy. Make sure you hop onto their website and check out what they have got in store for you.
Wow, this is already 2 games coming into today. If you do want more information on the tournament, however, and if you haven't already joined our Discord group, we do have all the information there. If you have any questions, you can also ask our Discord admins. They're more than happy to help because we've got a season 2 happening, so it makes sense to join now. You know, you got to get in there nice and early. But speaking of early, we won't be able to jump into the game early, but we are going to go for a quick break. Let these teams figure things out. Figure out how to counter GM Remy, because this team so far has been unstoppable. Let's see if we find that counter after this break.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming and Monster Energy.
Look, I'm going straight to the top. I don't know how I would stop, like it or not. I got some goals that I'm hitting. You hear what I'm spitting? It's hot. Look what I got. Whole lot of passion and pain. The road to success is insane. Stay out my lane, cause I'm on a mission. I'm getting what stands in my way. Yeah, I'm a beast. I wouldn't play with me, baby. The way that I'm training is crazy, and I do it daily. You wanna talk about drive? I got more drive than Mercedes. I've never been lazy. I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete? Well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Ha, yeah, I'm a word through the struggle and hurt. Cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Ha, yeah, I gotta be first. Look, I don't want anyone's sympathy. I understand what it's meant for me. I give my focus and energy. If it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. But mentally, I'm undefeated. They hear that and say I'm conceited. Like there's no reason. Like I don't beat them and come back again just to teach them that when you work under pressure, you reach higher measures. They'll try and bring you down, but you cannot let them. And only get better and focus on cheddar. Eye on the prize and you'll become a legend. Like when I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You want to compete? Well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt. Push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Ha, yeah, I'm a word through the struggle and hurt. Cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Ha, yeah, I gotta be first. They don't know what's gotten into me. How'd I turn pain into energy? Through all the struggle and hurt, remember my worth, and that's why I gotta be first.
Welcome back to the FreeFire Snapdragon Pro Series, day number 2 of the Open Finals, and GM Remy has been able to dominate all the way through a back-to-back booyah. They secure the 4th booyah of the finals, and finally they move into that number 1 spot. My name's AJ, I'm the Mustachio, down here with the one and only Danley to bring you guys all of this exciting.
How do you stop this team? They're unstoppable. They get all the loot. They get all the placement points. They get all the kills. Maybe not all the kills, but you know what I mean. They have played perfectly today.
Yes, they have.
And so the question here is, what is this weakness of GM Remy's? And I just don't feel like this team has it, because they're competent in close quarter combat. They're more than competent in long range.
Yeah.
Their pathing has been perfect. They, so far, it seems, for me, the drop zones. They're getting the loot. They're getting the blue zone drop. They're getting the blue zone loot. I feel like somebody needs to contest them for it.
Yeah, I mean, but okay, I want to answer that question, but a quick interview segment with Aguila from GM Remy, and we'll get to answering Danley's question.
In a row, how does that make you guys feel?
Ano daw pakiramdam na naka-back-to-back buya daw kayo? 2 in a row.
Masaya kasi pinaghirapan po namin yun.
Aguila said, because they worked hard for it, and he said that it's their hard work is paying off.
Jadi dia berkatakan seperti tadi adalah mereka bekerja keras untuk mendapatkan buya, dan ternyata mereka tetap berjaya untuk mendapatkan buya. So my next question is that on the last circle, you guys got hit by a launcher where 2 of your players went down. So what's going through your mind when you guys already know that 2 of our men is already down? Are we going to continue fighting, or are we going to fall back and try to revive our player?
Sa last circle daw, na tamaan daw kayo ng launcher, na down daw yung dalawang teammate nyo. Ano daw yung nasa isip nyo? I-revive nyo ba yung teammate nyo, or diretso pa rin sa laban, yung sa mga ibang mga kalaban nyo?
I-revive pa po namin yung team namin kasi po mas malaki po yung chance namin magbuya pag kompleto po kami.
Agala
Yun
said
lang.
that what they wanted to do is just to revive their teammates because they felt that as a team, if they're complete, they have a much better chance to get a booyah.
Nampak. Yang penting selamatkan. Apa yang dikatakan oleh Gila tadi adalah daripada continue berlawan, baik mereka selamatkan dua rakan dan itulah sebab kunci mereka untuk mendapatkan booyah. So, Agila, for the last map, of course you guys are aiming for another booyah, but will this be, back-to-back 3 times booyah? But before that, Agila, is there anything that you want to say to your fans, to your family, or to your to other teams that need to watch out for GM Remy?
Ano daw masasabi mo sa mga fans mo, sa ibang mga kalaban or mga pamilya mo? Ano daw masasabi mo?
For our fans, thank you sa support, and then my family, I miss you guys, and then my shout out to my Eagle.
Nice.
Uy, yeah.
Nice. Pick up line. All right. Thank you so much, Akila. Thank you so much, Remy, and good luck for the next game.
Wow.
Return of the love for the girlfriends.
Yeah.
You can't blame them. It's something that the Filipinos love to do.
So let me get to answering your question,
sure.
right? How do they combat with the strategy that
Hang on,
GM Remy
wait.
is
So
bringing
who's
in?
they, right? Because you also need to
They is
establish like
everybody.
who can compete with GM Remy.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, like, all of those who are aiming for that #1 spot, right? I mean, everybody in the competition right now, they are in direct competition with GM Remy because GM Remy has managed to bring in consistency into this competition in such a quick manner that none of them are able to execute in the exact same fashion, right? And the only way they can do it is by following their footsteps. And the secret of GM Remy, they just revealed that in their interview segment, right? They prioritize their positioning. They prioritize the number of men that they have on the battlefield. Instead of taking more kills, they want to pick up their own players who get down. And that's really, really important, right? That's the most important factor.
It's a team game, right? You're going to need as many bodies as possible.
Correct.
Now, let's take a look at the standings after round 2's match. Here we got GM Remy, as usual, sitting in that top place with 19 points. But AKO Ultraman actually came in very close in that second place with 18 points. They were just 1 point shy of tying for that first place. Then we've got War6 Philippines with 12 points. And then we have Anxiety and K9 Esports and Eva Continue tied 9 points apiece. I don't believe who's next managed to get 9. Yes, they did not. So a lot of the points actually going towards these top 6 teams. The remainder of the competition are sort of left picking at crumbs.
Yeah, and you know, we talked about a potential comeback here from Orange Esports. I had to just bring out the C bad word, the consistency word.
I mean, oranges, they don't grow in the desert. I think that's what we learned
as a matter
as
of
well.
fact, oranges are like that, right? There's no consistency in oranges. I've always purchased a pack of oranges thinking that I'm going to get sweet oranges, and then sometimes they turn out to be absolutely sour, some are bitter. Not all of them are sweet, right? And unfortunately, maybe I was about to say maybe they should change the name, but I don't think the organization would like that. So maybe not Orange Esports, maybe just a different strategy, maybe just a little bit more careful approaches, because once again, these are veteran players out there in the battlefield. It is quite surprising to see this sort of a performance from them. But, you know, talking about performance, let's take a look at AKO Ultraman, who managed to put on the hurt on all of these other teams. 6,007 damage, 10 kills, with a total survival time of 16 minutes and 38 seconds in the previous matchup.
Yeah, so this is another team that we were sort of expecting to be sitting in that top 2 placing after their group stage. But, I mean, they're still there. They're still within the top 6. So AKO, they haven't fallen completely from heaven. But I was sort of hoping to see this team shine. Fly, especially today, right? Because we did have a talk about this, right? Day 1, maybe got the jitters. They had the target on their back. Everyone was looking at them. They were being focused. So sure, day 1 might be a little bit tough. But day 2, you got to really bring it out. But you know what we do need to bring out? We got to bring out the tie, because if you look at this, GM Remy, first place, 101 points, but they're tied with Anxiety, who is now also sitting on 101 points.
They needed 10 points, and they got exactly that over the players of Anxiety
Including
to
the
catch
fresh-
up, right?
yeah.
Because Anxiety scored 9, GM Remy scored 19. So
Yeah, the
it was
offset.
perfect to catch up, but And also, based on their performance of leaning towards those placement points a little bit extra seems to be giving them the advantage here. So, I mean, based on the standings, you have your answer. What is the tiebreaker in the Snapdragon Pro Series? It's going to be your placement points.
I would say it's also probably booyahs as well, right? I mean, a team that generally also has more booyahs.
Yeah.
4 booyahs, so... so we did actually get confirmation from production just now. So it's actually the booyahs that's determining.
Apologies,
Yeah, it's all good. No worries. And
Booyah followed
kills.
by kills and then placement points. So Anxiety, if they can match up, but if Anxiety does match up with the number of Booyahs, I think they are going to have quite a good time taking over the players of GM Remy because comparing the kills, we see exactly who performs much better in that department.
I suppose, but I mean, after those first 2 games, I'm a little bit concerned for Anxiety and whether or not they can even catch up in terms of booyahs, right? Like, that's the concern now. But we'll see what happens because we are going to jump into our next map in just a minute. But we do need to quickly look over here for AKO Ultraman and K9 Esports. 82-80. These 2 teams, they are pretty close to each other, but I still think they have a chance to maybe get into that top 2.
Yeah.
Right? Because, yes, they're 20 points away, but it depends on whether they can get those booyahs.
Exactly. But of course, what are your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Don't forget to share all of your thoughts. Share this broadcast whilst you share your thoughts as well with the hashtag Snapdragon Pro Series so that we can pick them up and share all of your comments on this stream.
Yeah, and to everyone that's on our Twitch channel, or if you're not on Twitch, go there now because you can make your prediction for this next matchup. Who's going to be winning on Purgatory? That's our next map. Is it, I mean, if you want to go the easy route, you could just say GM Remy because so far that has been the trend for today. I think we are looking at a change, right? I don't think the teams are just going to let them play for free. So let's find out. We're going to jump into this matchup. Purgatory, is it going to be GM Remy to get that booyah? Are we looking at a river circle? Firstly, there's the blue zone. Is GM Remy going to that blue zone? Because that so far has been the trend. No teams have competed for that blue zone. Someone must have noticed this by now. And someone has to have the confidence to compete for that blue zone because you just, again, you cannot let this loot go for free.
Yeah, absolutely right. And all of that loot is once again going to be picked up by the players of GM Remy. The players who are looking for that #1 spot consistently after this, most definitely. After the players of Anxiety kind of just stepped into their spot, they want to respawn back hard. Legion down on the ground already. This is not something that we expected, but Divine, they take this hot drop, and right behind Divine, down here at Central, you also have hard to get. Things are about to get very dicey.
Oh man, Legion, looks like this team is going to go down. Mickey gets knocked down, and it's now down to Late. He's the last player alive, and he's actually got a vehicle, so at least he'll be able to drive out of there. But devastating there for Legion. They literally just got into the game, and they're already down to 1 player left. But I do believe Hard to Get is also very close to these players as well. They're chasing after Late because they actually managed to pop the vehicle. So already, I think we're going to be down to 11 teams here, AJ.
Yeah, Batman, I don't know if they're disengaging or they are hunting for that 1 final kill because this is a terrible play if they are hunting for kills because this just opens up all of their backs to the players who are still potentially looking for those kills onto Legion, right? So it's amazing. But Orange Esports managing to get the knock and kill instantaneously. Divine not taking advantage at all on the players of Hard to Get who backed away a little carelessly early on.
Yeah, Jay-Z, he'd take a couple pot shots here from Mr. D. Oh, almost going down. Not enough damage. Just 1 headshot would be enough to get this elimination here, but no, looks like they will be safe for now. One thing I want to mention, very obvious mention as well, GM Remy got the blue zone. Again, uncontested. So step 1 for GM Remy, get that blue zone. Now it's step 2. Can they get into that safe zone safely?
You know, they get the blue zone, they get the high tier loots, and on top of that, they avoid all of those engagements, right? So they make good use of all of those loots when it is truly needed in that final circle. Once again, I mean, it's such a no-brainer gameplay, but it just takes so much of capability, so much of mechanical capability out there on the battlefield to execute. Daymoon, one with Mother Nature, as he takes that tree, uses it as cover, Forbits with the support from the back, but what a flank coming through from K9 Esports. On both sides, they take down Forbits, they also remove his partner from the equation. Eva continues to no chance against this squad, way too good.
Yeah, not surprised there, right? Like K9, they embrace their wild side, hunting like wolves.
Kanohu strikes back.
Oh, they do. And Mr. D actually getting knocked down there by Batman. Hard to Get's joining into this fray.
Yep, hard to get now. Finally attacking Divine. And Divine was the team that kind of held back a little bit too much. But Shura, beautiful headshot. Shura down on the ground. Shura takes out Shira. And this battle continues. Insane with the Mag 7 plays. Pulls out the time turner in the nick of time just to block all of those extra shots. Orange Esports taken out of the equation as K9 Esports chips into that battle as well. Newbie out of the equation as Hard to Get continues to punish them for eliminating Shira from the equation. It's a 3v3 between these two squads.
Yeah, they're both holding a grudge against one another, and they don't really... I mean, there's no real way to safely get out of this, so totally understandable for them to make this play. Jay-Z trying to make that 1v1 play work, but he's the one that gets knocked down here by Shurez. And that's going to be a nice revenge. Oh, no, this is not what you're looking for. 2v3. And unfortunately, Zen, very injured, easily taken down, is now down to Shura.
Batman now shuts down the one and only Zen OP. You are right.
They know.
Shura up top. Mag 7. Shura's just waiting for them to catch up with him. But no grappling hook this time around for Batman as well as Insane. So they are going to have to scurry around. And Batman looking for the distance here. Managing to play it perfectly against Shura. But Shura drops down in terms of the defensive. Insane now for the finisher. And he gets that done quick. Mag 7 in his hands as well. Great plays by the players of Hard to Get. But 5 kill points in here so far. They once again have been one of those teams that have not taken a page out of GM Remy's book. Getting involved in a big engagement a little bit too early.
Yeah, it looks like K9's actually engaging into Anxiety here. Chessman is down, so Anxiety, unless they can get that pickup, which I think they're just going to leave him, it's going to be 2 players left. This is devastating. So far, we haven't had Anxiety had a great start. K9's going to be able to get this pickup. Now it's going to be Anxiety at the mercy of K9 here, and I'm not sure if there's really any safe way to get out of this because let's be realistic here, right? This is not the best place to be if you're trying to run away from somebody.
Oh yeah,
it's very open.
In fact, the worst place to be if you're trying to run away. There's one long line down, not a lot of cover, but you can see the players of Anxiety. They know this map really well, right? Using those pillars as cover just to cover their backs as they get away. And K9 Esports are none the wiser, not really giving chase, but backing away because they want to continue their looting process before getting involved in yet another engagement. And the players of Anxiety, they rotate out of the circle just to hop on into Forge before they can make their way back in. But they do notice the players of K9 Esports not chasing them down, and they slow their pace down as well. Wasik Philippines, on the other hand, 0 kills, but they break off into a buddy system, 2-2 on the pairing. And although that is good in terms of a defensive structure for your team, they now come across an opportunity to take down GM Remy, but only 2 of those players are available up top.
Yeah, I mean, let's just play safe. I mean, GM Remy up until this point has played safe. Why kick the hornet's nest? Just leave him alone. You know, just deal with him a little bit later on. But this game, I have to say, has been incredibly fast as well because we are already down to 9 teams, 29 players. We're almost 20 players dead. And we've just started Purgatory. So it seems like everyone's starting to pick up on this aggression, but also these teams are not really playing on the edge of the map, right? We're so used to seeing everyone spread out. And also we saw hot drops, like after so long, right? 3 hot drops, I think.
Yeah, very surprising turn of events here as teams start to get desperate out
there.
But
no one hot dropped GM Remy, of course.
Of course. Nobody wants that high tier loot zone. They all know exactly what GM Remy is capable of. And, you know, we have to respect the prowess that they have shown in the competition so far, right? But no one's been able to match up to them in terms of strategy just yet. Gunfights, the firepower, GM Remy can be outdone. So we're just waiting for the right team to take that opportunity.
Okay, seems like they know that Too Slow is there. So we could be seeing a pick off here by GM Remy. But here's the danger zone. We do have these teams sitting within their compounds, wanting to play safe. Positioning-wise, I'd say Who's Next Kalahari is not doing too bad. They're on the higher ground. I do like their positioning. They're going to be able to see where everyone's coming in from.
Yeah. There's this one thing that I'm just so confused with as to why these players are not playing the Misha meta, right? I mean, getting the vehicles, moving around on the battlefield, that's such a fantastic way to pick up multiple kills for yourself, especially if you are an aggressive team. Yes, I do understand there's no revives whatsoever, but that's one of the easiest ways to reposition yourself out there in the battlefield, and on the way, remain safe as well, because taking or traveling from compound to compound out in the open in a lobby like this clearly is a death wish.
Yep. Well, apparently it's working out for some players, aka McRory, as he does ride around on his bike. So far, luckily, at least he's safe. But we have two major teams next to each other here. So we've got K9, who is also currently kill leader with 5 kills on their team, right next to AKO. So we could be seeing a bit of a bloodbath here if they do reveal themselves, because I'm not sure if they've sniffed them out. I think they're just sort of looking for loot. You can tell that they're not really checking those windows. So the information's not quite there, and they're getting very close. I'm a bit worried they sort of run halfway through the field and then AKO just rains fire on them and they don't have anywhere to hide. Oh, Normain.
They have got the vehicles on them. Normain is the usual scout who rides around on that niche of meta. And hopefully he will be able to get the job done out there in the battlefield. One of the few players that are putting that meta to good use out there. I just wish to see more of those players playing the exact same strategy.
Oh, they're going to run him over.
See a little bit of an exciting matchup out there. But McRory, unfortunately, we'll see the end now. He finds the tree. No run over just this time round. But 2v1, McRory has to deal with Insane. Pulls out the time turner, but 2v1, Insane steps on in. McRory still trying to dodge. But a 2v1 obviously isn't the best of situations to be put into. Hard to get 6 kills so far with the final 2 men on their side.
Numbers advantage in that case. So I was kind of hoping for maybe some roadkill, you know. It's a bit exciting. It's different, but it's fine. Instead, though, it seems like K9, they are positioning themselves to play up against AKO. So it seems like they did reveal their position. Who is going to win this engagement so far? I'd say K9 have been playing way better than AKO today. That's one thing for certain.
Yeah, but overall, we have managed to find that AKO Ultramen are slightly better in getting those kills. But K9 Esports are no chump squad, right? They can slay out there at the battlefield as well.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
This is pretty much a 50-50 battle between the two teams. It's all up to who makes that first mistake first. As you can see, Too Fast with the Groza in hand, keeping cover, making sure nobody else catches up with the rest of his team members, and Too Fast continues to damage Blank. Blank responds, trying to find that acute angle, but that pixel's just a little too tight for him to squeeze a shot in. Blank will not be able to get the one, but Too Fast once again teasing him out. Blank will have to disengage and look for that circle instead. Only 1 more minute of play before they will be forced to move by that blue zone. So K9 Esports taking the initiative to get on in and hustle on before they are forced out of their grounds. But staying into the hands of Warsick Philippines, that's going to be insane.
Just a little bit too slippery there, AKO, but I guess that was the good news, because they were potentially going to get a player knocked down there. But Anxiety going to be playing on the edge of the circle this game, as they have fallen to 2 players, but instead K9 actually going to run into Warsix here. Now this is a very weird position to be if you're Warsix. Yes, you're going to be able to scout out players on the low ground, and Pain actually getting knocked down here by Invoker. And now everyone in Warsix, they're going to try and bum rush this K9. Are they expecting this? Can they do the close quarter combat? 2 players are down. Warsix, no one is down as of yet. Blank trying to get his team back up, but I think this might just be it. Invoker does go down. Too slow. Also being caught out as well. Maybe Warsix, they're going to be regretting this completely. K9 still trying to survive. Can they do it though?
Yep, and K9 Esports. This was that rotation in to catch the backs of
Normain.
Warsick Esports. But now with that spectacular takedown, down on the ground, K9 Esports taken out of the equation, all thanks to the Mag 7 setup. But the only one that got sacrificed in that encounter was Invoker. Tacular almost got taken out of the equation, but Warsick Philippines, they were in the advantageous position because they already had the defense locked down before K9 Esports rotated into their compound. So great plays all over.
All it took was that first initial knock, and then Warsix just went right in there, bum rushed into K9. And I don't think K9 was expecting such an aggressive play to happen, because they were trying to get the revives off. They saw them coming. The glue walls were all over the place, and they just got eliminated so quickly. Those hits were coming in. And
Who's next? Kalasag Philippines helping out the players of Anxiety. Nate now being cooked up by the one and only Too Fast. He puts it right back. This is going to be the ice grenade that is going to be forcing to... No! The beautiful spot on that nade. The God nade, I have to call it, as AKO Ultraman manages to put Kanoho down to the ground. Nobody else on the side of Anxiety to pick him up, which means that's a free kill.
I mean, I'd probably look at a name change here and just be like, Kanoho, no! Slow motion grenade. Sometimes it happens. You see them coming and you just realize, I'm dead, aren't I?
Toby.
What to do?
Is in a great spot because none of the other players are around his vicinity. So Anxiety playing for those placement points, and the gods of RNG might just be on their side this time round. Who's next? Kalasag Philippines managing to tag up AKO earlier on. And now AKO turns around to put a little bit of pressure on them as well. Batman down on the ground. Tacular Groza on for the kill. And Wasik Philippines is just keeping up that pressure. They know those players have got nowhere else to run. That boulder is there, but the blue zone just cutting that boulder into half. Hard to get. Having a rough time out there as ORV joins the fray as well. Basic pace for knocking down a player on the side of AKO earlier on. And AKO Ultraman find those shots. Hard to get. Have nowhere else to go now.
Abno, though, actually getting taken down there by Dizo. So maybe they're going to regret the decision. But instead, AKO actually going to be fighting up against who's next? Kalasag. And who's next? They will get eliminated. So luckily, at least, they do get that final KO. And AKO will come out with 3 players, so not completely crippled. But in the meantime, we do have a couple other teams going for a fight here.
Yeah, ORV.
How did Hard to Get survive? They're not dead yet.
Just behind this hill. Insane outside of the circle. That's how he's surviving. He's playing with fire. Jampong down on the ground. It's insane that strikes from outside the circle. That's an insane play coming through from Hard to Get. But can he survive? Running out of time. Hard to Get is absolutely in a tight spot now. And Insane should be taken out by the blue zone any second as Wasik Philippines finally engages with ORV, with GM Remy watching from afar.
I don't think they got the elimination. We did see in the kill feed someone did get knocked down for GM Remy, but I guess they managed to get the pickup. But Raz actually going to be eliminated by Too Slow, and now they're going to run in. Feeling confident, but the glue walls are there, so Too Slow is just going to have to wait for this to run out. But this might be his death sentence. Too Slow, is he going to regret his decision? 40 HP, but they can't get the elimination. They're just blocking them with glue walls.
What a play.
Too Slow. You mean too fast, bro.
Yeah, Too Slow's just the master of the Mag 7. I mean, you can spray, you can pray, but, you know, quite honestly, you don't need to pray when you've got the Mag 7 because it just gets it done, right? The job is all sorted. Auto shotgun for the victory. But Roy has got the Groza in hand. Aguila might be in a little bit of trouble if Roy responds with those shots. Pulls out the double barrel as well, just for good measure. Roy now, his feet fully exposed. I don't know if the guy knows that just yet, but AKO Ultraman in a lot of trouble. GM Remy looking for yet another booyah for themselves. Can they make it 3 back-to-back?
They might be able to. So far, they're looking good. They've got the compound. They are basically in the circle. They are basically safe here. AKO Ultraman will get taken out. Anxiety, though, are still alive, weirdly enough. They haven't been fully eliminated, so placement points are going to be there. But the question here is it still going to be that booyah here for GM Remy?
GM Remy just spotting the player out. Once again, getting into the final circle. No kills. Not many kills, I have to say, on their side. Tacular, absolutely correct. Down on the ground. Remy yells through, you know, just puts him out of commission. Joy now with the Mag 7 as well, but no distance at all. Aguila pulls out the time turner. The timing is bad from the side of Joy, and he has to back away. Just all-out chaos now as Aguila hops on into the battle here, Daddley.
The walls. There's so many glue balls. Maybe they try and outlast, but no, Warsix can't. It was 2v4. What do you do? And, you know, during the interview... Okay, so they were going to ask if GM Remy was looking to get another back-to-back booyah. Well, they didn't even need to ask that question because look what's happened. 3 booyahs back-to-back. Unstoppable. We haven't seen this team struggle at all.
Yeah, the 5th booyah of the grand finals. GM Remy running the FreeFire Snapdragon Pro Series, absolutely conquering it. And now earlier on they did tie up with Anxiety. We did see Anxiety
not
this time
anymore.
around.
No way.
You know, catch up in terms of performance, finding that final circle, but only in the form of Toby. And what better way? Who better to take Toby out of the equation than a player on the side of GM Remy themselves, right? The perfect message to send out before they break away from them.
Well, I have a message for the other teams. Who wants to hot drop GM Remy? It's gotta, I swear, it has to happen at some point. Like,
Yep.
if no one does it, I will be sorely disappointed because we are reaching, basically we're at the halfway mark today,
Yes.
right? We've played 9 games total, including the 6 from yesterday. We've got 3 more games. These teams are going to cycle back to Bermuda. Something has to change.
Insane, right? Out of the 9 games, more than 50% of the Booyahs went to one team. GM Remy. We talk about
Wow.
consistency quite consistently on broadcast, and GM Remy, one of those few diamond of squads who are able to deliver out there on the battlefield. I mean, it's quite spectacular what they've been able to achieve so
Yes.
far, and with the strategy especially, right? Because very, very specifically, when winning matters, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, yes, GM Remy knows exactly how to get it. Our main sponsors, Snapdragon Elite Gaming, they are the ones that you want to lean on when winning truly matters for you as well.
I don't know. If you're GM Remy, I think this is just a bonus, you know? It's like, the Snapdragon Elite Gaming, it's extra, you know? They're really good. But
Yeah.
they can elevate themselves and be a little bit better.
And how do they do that? By unleashing the monster from with Monster Energy. Their website is right down here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Hop on over and check out exactly what Monster Energy has for you. And all of us have got more information waiting for you guys in our Discord channel as well.
Yeah.
So do not forget
Join
to hop on
us.
in there and get all of that information that you are going to need to join Season 2 of the FreeFire Snapdragon Pro Series.
One of us.
Oh, yeah.
One of us. We've got a lot happening, folks. So if you haven't already, yes, join the Discord because we are looking forward to seeing you there. But what we are also looking forward to is whether or not GM Remy can be stopped. It's got to come down to these last 3 games.
Yeah.
We're going to cycle back to Bermuda, but we're going to do it after this break. The teams, this is it. They got to think during this break now. What do we do? Do we hot drop? Do we intercept them? I mean, you can't focus them because you can't see them.
Yeah.
We'll find out anyway. We'll have a quick break, and then once you return, we'll see if GM Remy can be stopped. See you after this.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming and Monster Energy.
Welcome back to the FreeFire Snapdragon Pro Series. This is day number 2 of the Grand Finals, and it's still being dominated by one team called GM Remy.
Well, that's why they're called GM Remy, right? Game Master Remy. Ah.
They are the game masters of Free Fire, most definitely, especially for the Snapdragon Pro Series. I mean, to get more than 50% of the booyahs from the available games, I mean, it says a lot, right?
Yes.
The consistency is absolutely mind-blowing from this squad.
Well, something we need to ask them, and I wish we could ask them, but let's be realistic. They're not going to tell us. Like, what's the secret to them winning? Because is it a case of them just being better than the competition, right? Like, that's the most obvious one. Are they just better than everyone else? Or is it a case of their pathing? Are they aware of where these teams drop? Are they able to dodge the competition? I honestly think it's the blue zone that they're dropping into. They're never being contested. They are basically more than well equipped to deal with anybody that does try to pressure them after that blue zone. So something has to change. Like, you cannot just let them get these free entries.
And I think you just answered your own questions, right, as to what is their secret. Their secret is finding those final circles, and at the very start of the game, hunting down that high-tier loot zone. And this is the crazy part about GM Remy, that high-tier loot zone is not going to be consistent match after match, right? You always got to go looking for it. It drops out. It's very random in terms of the compound. So it's one of the most aggressive, daring moves that I've seen a team execute out there on the battlefield.
But they're not being punished for it. Like, that's normal, right? Like, something that's supposed to be high risk, high reward. They're basically getting it for free because no one has the confidence to contest them, because I think by now everyone knows it's going to be GM Remy. But very quickly, let's take a look at the round standings here. After round 3, we've got GM Remy, and interestingly enough, War6 Philippines tied in first place with 17 points apiece. Now, of course, GM Remy got the booyah, so they will be the one to technically come out on top in first place. And third, we have Anxiety with 13 points, so they are trailing. They're not falling too far behind on that main leaderboard, but Anxiety, I think, if anything, you do want to take that first place back if possible.
I mean, finally, Anxiety themselves get a little anxiety in the competition, right? It's high time after they gave everybody else an anxiety.
It's time to swap.
Quite the breakout run yesterday in the first 4 matches. I mean, their fall from grace started off in the last 2 matches of yesterday, and unfortunately, it has continued in today. But like you said, they're not allowing GM Remy to run away too far. This time around, only 4 points of a difference between GM Remy and Anxiety, which means they're still very much in the competition. But one team that is very quickly catching up with the rest is AKO Ultraman.
Finally!
K9 Esports are the ones who are in front of them, or you know, in the overall leaderboard right now. But in this particular matchup, yes, they do score better, but once again, it's such a small margin, right? So AKO Ultraman, they are catching up with K9 Esports, but just not quick enough.
Yes. I mean, they're very close. It's going to come down to these last 3 games, right? If AKO are able to outperform K9 significantly. But very quickly, let's take a look at War6 stats here, because they were the ones to nab 8 kills. 5,000 damage as well, alongside a 16-minute, 38-second survival time as well. So, I mean, War6, this is definitely a dark horse to sort of look out for, right? Like, they have had outstanding moments, and they've also had games where they're just sort of there. They're not really contributing too much in terms of the kill feed. But I think especially for day 2, we've seen much improvement in this squad. Like, they've been much more consistent than yesterday. I think yesterday it was a case of them just sort of being, again, kind of like Orange Esports syndrome, where wrong place, wrong time. Sometimes you don't get to decide whether you're in the right spot. So, War6, maybe we could see this team actually making a bit of a climb. But here are the overall standings. And GM Remy, 4 points ahead of Anxiety, 118 points. Anxiety are not out of it. They can come back. But the question is GM Remy going to finally flop? Because they're flying.
Yeah, they are flying. Anxiety, on the other hand, are slowly trying to improve their performance as well as approach to the competition, but they just haven't found their momentum just yet. AKO Ultraman, on the other hand, slow and steady is the pace that they have chosen to take in the competition, slowly catching up with the top 3 spots, and finally the podium spot for them as they pick up the 3rd spot. K9 Esports right behind them, albeit not too far away, and of course K9 Esports now need to worry about out yet another team in contention for their spot, which is going to be Wasik Philippines, another team that has been on the slow rise up to the top. Who's next? Kalasag Philippines, a team that didn't really do all that too great on day number 1. A massive improvement, I have to say, on this day, but there's still no consistency coming through from the team just yet. Yadob cannot be the only player they all lean to for assistance. Everybody else in the team needs to step up as well, Danley.
Yeah, I think we're also starting to see a bit of a discrepancy between these teams as well, right? It seems that I think up until 5th place, you don't really see that much of a gap between the competition. And then all of a sudden, you're looking at almost a 20-point gap.
Yeah.
So I think top 5, I want to say this top 5 placing is pretty much confirmed. I don't really think we're going to be seeing any major changes unless someone decides we're done today, we're not going to play any more FreeFire, and then they just don't get any more points. I don't think that's going to happen, but we're kind of asking for flops. It's down to the teams whether it happens or not. But firstly, before we jump into our next matchup, we have another interview with GM Remy. What else are we going to learn from this squad? We're going to talk to Aguila right now.
Agali, pagod ba daw kayo na nananalo kayo dire-diretso?
Hindi pa po sir hanggat sa hindi po namin matambakan yung mga kalaban pa po namin. Medyo mahahabol pa po yung score namin eh.
Alright, Agali said that they're tired. They're not gonna stop until they get a big lead because they feel like teams like Anxiety can still catch up to them.
Jadi saya tanya kepada GM Remy tadi, adakah mereka tak letih ke dah menang? Tapi mereka mengatakan mereka kejap sikit je, bahawa Anxiety tu still ada lagi. So my next question, Aguila. So I just want to know, your strategy has always been in the middle of the circle, always camping in the middle of the circle. Why that strategy keep working for the previous 3 maps? Is just another team did not come in, or you guys managed to protect the compound perfectly?
Yung strategy daw nyo na palagi daw kayo nasa gitna ng circle sa gitna, nagka-camp daw kayo. Paano daw yun gumagana para sa team nyo?
Malaking tulong po sa amin yung info box kasi po nalalaman po namin kung saan po yung gitna ng circle. Kaya po kami nakakapwesto ng maayos.
Prediksi.
Ugly said what's very helpful for them is the info box. That's why it helps them get the middle position in the circle right away, and that helps them position them out against other teams.
Dengan tu info box tu penting supaya mereka tahu ke mana circle. So maybe a little bit personal. I just want to ask you, what do you want to say to your opponent Anxiety? Because they are just 4 points behind you guys.
Yeah.
Medyo personalan daw against kay Anxiety nga kasi 4 points lang yung lamang nyo sa kanila. Ano mo sasabi mo sa kanila? Sa Team Anxiety.
Good luck sa kanila kasi hindi kami titigil na magbuya hanggat hindi namin malakihan yung lamang namin sa kanila. Lang.
Agal said that good luck to them because you're not gonna stop until they get that big lead against them.
So apa yang dikatakan seperti tadi Aguila adalah mereka tetap akan ke depan dan mereka tak akan berhenti untuk menunjukkan yang mereka yang terbaik. So my last question to you, Aguila, do you have anything to say to your fans, to your friends, and of course to your angel?
Ano daw ulit masasabi mo sa mga fans mo, sa pamilya mo at sa kay Angel mo daw?
Thank you sa support. Huwag kayong magsawang sumuporta sa amin. Miss ko na yung Angel ko. I miss you.
Jomi. Jomi. Wow.
All right. Thank you so much, Aguila, and good luck.
We had a discussion just now, and I feel like it's something we should mention on stream. Okay, with the current trajectory of this game, GM Remy are technically slated to grab all the booyahs, right? In the history of competitive FreeFire, no team has managed to get all the booyahs in a single day.
Yeah.
We've been close, right? It was, I believe,
I think 4 booyahs in a day out of 6 matches.
Yes.
I think that was the best.
Yes, I think that's been the best so far. But we could be seeing technically a world record here. If it happens. I could be jinxing it right now and saying like, oh, it's going to happen, and then it doesn't. So
Well, let's see if or not GM Remy can pull off the Snapdragon Pro Series record of whacking all 6 of those booyahs back to back. But I don't think it's going to be as easy as that, right? Because, you know, the warning bells have finally started to sound for anxiety. AKO Ultraman are on their slow and steady pace right back up on top of the leaderboard. K9 Esports are not going to be too happy with getting kicked down. And Wasik Philippines have finally joined the fray as well.
Finally joined the fray. It's as
Exactly.
if they were never there to begin with.
Anything can happen now in the final 3 matches.
Well, I want to know what changes in this first matchup, right? Because we're now finally going on to our first repeat map of the day, which is going to be Bermuda.
Yep.
It was a bit slow this at the beginning of the day, right? It was very uncharacteristic of Bermuda. We're so used to seeing all this action, but the teams did speed it up for Kalahari and Purgatory. So I'm wondering what kind of mayhem we're going to be seeing in this next matchup.
Absolutely. And if you are wondering exactly what sort of mayhem we're about to see, you might have some theories, right? Share your thoughts with us on social media with the hashtag Snapdragon Pro Series so that we can grab that and share it on broadcast.
And to all of our viewers on Twitch and the people that are going to watch on Twitch, go to Twitch, make sure to throw your predictions in the chat and let us know who do you think is going to be winning this next matchup. We return to Bermuda. No water circles. It's okay, we got grassy circles, it's fine. But it's, well, who do you think's going to win? I'm not going to jinx it. We're all not going to jinx it.
Yeah.
We're just going to let it play out.
Yeah,
Actually,
exactly.
we should jinx it, right? GM Remy.
I'm not going to say
I'm reverse
anything.
jinxing it.
If they are able to bring in their consistent plays like 4 rounds back to back, then that's just absolutely spectacular, right? But
Or
everybody,
maybe my reverse jinx isn't working.
maybe. I mean, after all of the other teams have seen the efficacy of their strategy already, and hopefully they try to execute it in the exact same way. But obviously, GM Remy, the ones who have shown that they are the masters of executing at those final circles.
Who's next color suck? Maybe? Maybe? No. No. Okay, never mind. I'm sorely disappointed. But we are maybe looking at a hot drop here, right?
Yeah.
Legion is right next to K9, and I'm assuming it's actually K9 wanting to try and get this jump on the team. So we'll see if it's successful for them so far.
Oh, beauty.
Oh, Legion! They managed to actually lose one player right off the bat. Normain.
Normain strikes, and this time without the vehicle at all. Legion now slowly breaking apart as they scurry on to look for more loot, but Normain is not slowing down at all. His pace is as high as it first started off. The moment he picked up that pistol, he had the beautiful opportunity to get the first blood, and he took it without thinking twice at all. Pain now, very close to late, but he doesn't spot the player out just yet, Denley.
Yeah, it doesn't spot him out as of yet. We actually have another potential hot drop, right? It's actually towards the southeast section of the map. It's on Sentosa. So we could be looking at a couple of knocks there. I saw hard to get one, and it's going to be Joy. So Batman going to finish up that and get their first kill of the game as well.
Yes,
so 2 hot drops. Interesting.
Just when Wasik Philippines thought they could catch up with the race for the podium finish,
Nope.
here comes Hard to Get, right? I mean, Hard to Get themselves have been finding it a little hard to get
podium finish.
No, hard to get points even, right?
Actually, yes.
From all of these other teams. But finally, one off of Wasik Philippines should put them in the right sort of mindset to continue this attack. But
Lay
K9
to rest.
Esports now, absolutely correct. You are, Danley. They are about to lay him to rest, but they are checking each and every single corner of this house. They know Lay is somewhere in here, and this poor guy has got nowhere else to
Let's
run
see him.
off to. Finally gets spotted out. It's a 3v1. Normain once again gets that knock and the kill for the squad.
That's going to be 2 kills for K9 as well. So very nice start for this team to grab those 2 picks. And also at the end of the day, getting those kills, you're going to be able to get that loot as well. So pretty good spot to be in for this team. And actually, they're going to run into Eva as well. So K9, the action doesn't end here for this team. They do quite a bit of damage there with Blank, who's actually going to be running in for the team. He'll be rushing in. That was not... No, that was not the play. Yep, back up. That was not the play.
Eva continue managing to make the players of K9 Esports think twice about their move in there. Normain and Blank hopping on into the vehicle, and this is where Normain usually shines, right? When he's got a vehicle in hand, he is the scout for the squad. But the main point of this engagement here for the players of K9 Esports is to play the game of smarts, right? They've just gotten out of a fight with one squad. The final thing, or the last thing that you want now is to get involved in yet another. Pain could not get away, gets stuck right outside. The glue wall pulled out. Pain gets sprayed down onto the ground, and McRory finishes that off before Forbits could do anything at all. Unfortunate for the player, and the players of K9 Esports now, as they quickly back away from Eva, continue that one loss is not going to hurt them all that too much. Mickey got saved there. Legion didn't get hunted down because Eva continue appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, I actually think that's going to hurt K9 more than most teams, because we have seen K9 really struggle when it comes to the late game when they don't have all 4 players. So we'll see if they're able to recoup somehow. Yeah, Eva's going to run into GM Remy. Now, firstly, we do need to remember GM Remy, they did manage to get the high tier loot. So they're going to be more than well equipped to go into this fight. And the thing is, I think if Eva does manage to get a knock or one of their players gets knocked and they realize it's GM Remy, they're just going to say bail. God, of course they had to take out Daemoon. That's the last play you want to lose if you're Eva.
Yeah, GM Remy just striking. I mean, they obviously got very lucky with Daemoon being knocked down to the ground, but immediately, the moment they realized it was Daemoon, they did not think twice.
Look, I expected this.
Action.
I said it, right? I said if someone gets knocked and they see the name in the kill feed, they're just going to bail. You know, you do not want to go up against GM Remy.
Yeah, absolutely. Not, especially not after they pick up the high-tier loot zones consistently round after round, right? You know they are ready for these early battles. And that's a good decision coming through from the players of Eva Continue. Anxiety, on the other hand, giving all of us anxiety with their drop in performance on day number 2. All of this started after the 4 matches had concluded on day number 1. Game 5 and Game 6 were abysmal for Anxiety, and they haven't really been able to recover from that sort of a dip in performance. I mean, a little bit of consistency to keep up the pace with the other teams who are catching up, but nothing to shout about just yet.
Yeah, I think maybe Anxiety are a little demotivated as well, because they can't afford to tie for first place because they lose in that department because of the booyahs. And then for them to outplay GM Remy, it's a big ask. Yeah. Especially with the fact that GM Remy got those 3 booyahs already. So maybe not feeling it. Who knows? Maybe Anxiety have something up their sleeve. They're sort of changing things up a little bit. We'll find out very soon, though, as okay, very, very brave.
Oh my God, what is happening out there in the battlefield? This is a 4-way that is about to break down. AKO Ultraman, a part of this engagement. And now they finally start those shots off against who's next. Kalahari, Philippines. Lemon drops Twinkle. Twinkle, is he going to be able to be saved here as Roy now pops that ice grenade as well just to slow down his opponents. Lemon out of nowhere drops Basic, who comes in for the save as well. But there will be a response by Hawkeye, who steps on out with the Mag 7. Can they save him? Too fast drops Yadov. Who's next? Kalahari, Philippines dropping out against the players of AKO Ultraman. They did not see this coming.
I don't think AKO are going to lose anyone for this as well. So it's just going to be free kills for this squad. Poor Hawkeye. He's just all alone. He could try and go for the pick, but I think if he even attempts it, he's just basically going to get knocked out here. So gotta pray. Maybe he can take one player down with him. That's probably the best thing you can ask for.
Hawkeye. And Divine out of nowhere, they drop the nade, they steal away that kill off of the player from the side of who's next, Kalahari, Philippines. GM Remy strikes from the back as well. A lot of action going on out there on the battlefield as Lemon drops Mr. D. Divine quickly recovers. Divine now trying to take over this compound. Who's next, Kalahari, Philippines taken out of the equation, all thanks to Newbie, who steals away 2 of those kill points from the players of AKO Ultraman. This is something that AKO now did not expect. Back-to-back unexpected breakdowns out there on the battlefield as Divine now Mr. D gets dropped yet again. Axel for the strike. Zeno P with the backup, and the double barrel fails. And there was a grenade launcher failure as well as a player on the side of AKO takes themselves out of the equation. Lemon alongside Axel. Both players with the Mag 7, but they've got no access just yet because of the maze of blue walls that have been erected.
Oh man, I think this might just be it for Divine. And yes, oh my gosh, a shot to the face. And they didn't even get anyone from AKO as well.
Yeah.
They lose the entire squad. They got no one back with them. And it looks like we're going to switch over.
Again?
Hard to get. Where did this squad come from?
I mean, this is just like, and the next contender, this is just a back-to-back
Ding, ding, ding,
battle
ding,
royale out there. Everybody wants to contest this with the players of AKO
Batman,
Ultraman.
down.
But it looks like they have run out of those artillery, out of all of those lethal firepower as AKO now tries to disengage the players of Hard to Get. Jay-Z does not want to allow them to run away. Eva continue taken out of the equation in the 10th spot. But the players of AKO Ultraman still
punished.
finding that survival point.
I don't think this is actually something you want to do if you're Hard to Get, because they came in, they were the ones to challenge AKO, and they're the ones losing the players. But I think for now, they're just going to get lucky. AKO are the ones to bail. I thought Hard to Get were going to get punished, because we've seen time and time again, right? Every time they try and go in for these engagements, it's either it does amazingly well or the team just dies.
What a shot! Batman knocking him down onto the ground. Too fast out of the equation already. One final player. Insane going in for the final
Batman's
nail in
down.
the coffin. But AKO Ultraman does not want to let that go just yet. Axel manages to dodge and weave. He will be able to get away. But now open lands. Axel out of time. He needs to play those glue walls. Axel, yes, drops one. Can he drop another? He has to, but he will only do so if he is forced to. Axel now running out of time. Jay-Z as well as Insane breaking apart. They want to flank from the left and right hand side. Axel on the other hand manages to use Mother Nature as a little bit of cover. As that elevation of the hill dips, Axel allows himself to survive for a little bit more.
Oh, it looks like the shots are going to land, and I think this might just be it. So close. He's literally just running into the blue zone.
Oh, what a shot, Axel!
Oh, he actually gets the kill onto Batman.
And that is Axel for you. Even on the retreat, he manages to turn around, get a knock, quickly steals the kill, but AKO Ultraman finally meets their end as Axel gets put out of commission. Hard to Get. Was that well worth it as they lose Batman in that engagement for the one final kill point? I really don't think so.
No, you do not want to. Of all the players, I had to be Batman. I think this man is a bullet magnet.
I mean, when you
sometimes.
get a little greedy, you have to be punished, and unfortunately, the players most definitely got punished. But GM Remy will be smiling year to year, watching all of that engagements break down on the battlefield. The lesser they have to deal with in the final circle, the happier they will be. But now, as they get stuck in this small little compound, they have to deal with Legion on the right-hand side and a slow approaching team from the top as well. I believe that is Warsick Philippines on the approach. No anxiety on the approach. Now, this one is going to be a tough fight for the team.
Yeah. Although technically speaking, right, I mean, GM Remy are going to have the advantage here. In general, we've seen them play much better than Anxiety, but who knows? We could be seeing a bit of a change. But Anxiety looks like they might end up dodging instead. Yeah, they're not going down that way.
K9 Esports, the next contenders who hop on into battle. Blank finds a vehicle, but it's up in flames already, so I don't know the ideation here. Yeah, exactly what I was thinking, Blank. Hops on out of the vehicle and immediately retreats. An absolute waste of maneuver out there on the battlefield. He might as well just stayed by. And Insane, just a little bit of a misflick there, but that's not going to hurt him all that too much. He just has to back away. One wasted glow stick on his side. Players of Warsick Philippines still playing on the defensive. K9 Esports, on the other hand, just holding the edge of the next circle, trying to be the gatekeepers who catch off all of these approaching players.
Well, I don't think anyone's actually on their side of the map, right? Everyone's more towards the western side, so it might just be like a clear entry for K9. If anyone's there, fine. But I don't suspect this team to actually grab any kills in the process. I mean, this is what we're looking at so far. Legion looking at their last player, poor Mickey. The team's got no kills as well. This has been a really tough one for this squad as they actually were heavily punished from the get-go, right? They got hot dropped. I think hot dropped by K9 as well.
Yeah.
And with no points, they're basically playing for placements, which is really tough.
Anxiety, not looking for those cheeky shots against GM Remy. And they disengage for the time being. They've got the airdrops to work with on this elevated ground, so that's exactly what they will do. Mickey start in a very, very tight spot between GM Remy and Anxiety with nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. He stays put. Kanoho trying to spot out a player, finds no one. K9 Esports disengages with hard to get, leaving them. But Orange Esports now might be able to catch them off guard. Just a lot of potential situations or battles that will be breaking out in the next couple of seconds as that safe zone continues to push everyone in together.
This would be such a perfect revenge plot if Anxiety are the ones to maybe get the knockout here onto GM Remy, but it looks like for now we're going to see hard to get rain fire onto K9, who unfortunately are on the lower end of that hill. They've got nothing to work with for cover. They've just got to use their glue walls. So it's going to be hard to get running in towards K9. Can K9 gatekeep them from getting into that next zone?
And the circle literally hunts down GM Remy and sends the safe zone directly to them. So GM Remy doesn't really need to reposition themselves.
But Anxiety have to move in towards GM Remy.
Yeah, and that's just going to give that advantage to GM Remy as what they already had previously. So gods of RNG on the side of GM Remy to pick up Booyah number 4. But in order to be able to pull that off consistently back to back, GM Remy, not only do they have to be as good as ever, but they need a little bit of that extra luck. It looks like that's exactly what they have now.
Yep, it's still... Oh, Jay-Z actually getting knocked down there by Blank. And hard to get. They are struggling against K9, who are preventing them from safely going into that safe zone. We are also seeing Orange Esports on that map as well. They are in the circle, so that's going to be the next layer of protection if you think about it, right? That's the team that's going to be gatekeeping anyone trying to get in. But
oh, what a shot.
K9, Blank. Hard to get. I think this is just going to be it for this team. There's just no way to safely get in.
Okay, beautiful headshot. Jampong now catching off Insane and ORV chipping in as well. Everybody wants these shots and ORV themselves get tagged up by Orange Esports. Wasik Philippines is just going to be safe just a little while as ORV now get a little distracted by Orange. Apnoy gets nailed as Too Slow pops out the grenade launcher, takes the kill instantaneously. Russ repositions after he finds that knock coming down and Russ as he tries to run away. Too Slow catches him with his own shotgun. This is just an absolute chaotic experience for the players of ORV who try to storm the front. A great knock coming through as they find Invoker, but no kills just yet. Invoker gets taken down by Jampong, but ORV, they've run out of time with just one final player left on this side.
And they're going to run right into Orange Esports as well. Deco is actually getting knocked down there, and it looks like Too Slow from Warsik's going to be taken out. Warsik's eliminated in 6th place, so unfortunately that team will not be able to continue on. And the same thing with ORV Tyrants also getting eliminated, and Jebat actually getting knocked down here. Orange Esports, thankfully they're running in pairs. They will be able to get that pickup, but we all know how we feel about those watchtowers. Grenades are your biggest enemy, and they are coming.
Yep, and here those grenades come up to be launched, and K9 Esports tries to respond, but very clearly doesn't have the range with those grenade throws. But here comes the players of GM Remy. Barba taken down, but Toby strikes right back as Aguila gets knocked down by a grenade. No finisher coming through just yet. Ritus loses his standing, gets knocked down and eliminated from the equation. Ramiel trying to respond. Fura down on the ground. Anxiety taking on GM Remy one after the other. Ramiel final opportunity, and GM Remy get taken out by Anxiety themselves.
Revenge plot executed. This
I think Ikuto did that, right? He just asked him, like, do you have a message for Anxiety? And I think that just brought out the wrath from the Anxiety players. K9 Esports now still alive as they continue traveling on in, but they need to deal with Orange Esports, who sends a couple of shots their way. Normain knocked down onto the ground already. One grenade can finish things off, but K9 Esports managed to pick their star player up once again. But the safe zone now squeezing them in. Normain getting knocked down second time round, and Toby nails the shot. Anxiety chips on in.
Oh boy, this might be a redemption arc here for Orange Esports. This is a team that has struggled. They've got all 4 players alive. Anxiety are coming in with 3. Now it's down to 2. It might be the end here for Anxiety unless they're able to get these knocks here onto Orange. So far, Orange, the team is healthy. They've got plenty of glue walls to work with, but they also need to deal here with K9. Torm actually being taken down there by Chessman. His health is dropping rapidly. They will lose it. Orange The tree! It's burning! AJ, the tree's burning!
And Anxiety, the ones lighting up that fire. One after the other, they take those players down. Anxiety on the opposite side. K9 Esports, Blank, getting his health chipped away little by little. Now has to deal with Orange Esports at the very same time with Anxiety as well. Time turner pulled out by Orange Esports. And
Blank
they
is
will
down.
put down D-Cause. Orange Esports running out of time. K9 Esports as well with the one and only Wooxie. But the safe zone shuts them down. Orange Esports taken out. And it will be Anxiety that strikes back with their own booyah.
Anxiety. This is probably the best way to come back into the game.
Yeah.
They're sitting in second place. They lost that first placing to GM Remy.
Yeah.
And what did they do? They took out the competition. They get rid of GM Remy. They're going to take back that first place,
Yep.
which they are so desperate to get back.
Yep. And
The
they
race
needed
for-
4 points, right?
Yes.
And, you know, the
Just-
GM Remy just broke
4
away.
points.
And because Anxiety kept the pressure up, because Anxiety didn't really bomb out in the previous round, they managed to keep the pressure. And just a difference of 4 points makes me confident that Anxiety should be able to rise back up and snatch away that #1 spot. Because not only did they get the 12 points from the Booyah, they got quite a number of kills on their side as well
Yeah.
before wrapping this match up.
So this is great news for Anxiety fans who are feeling a little anxious after those first 3 games, but what a way to come back. But we also do need to talk about the other teams that were actually in that final circle, right? K9, this team has
Yes.
started to show a bit of a revival, and Orange Esports, I'm happy for them because we have seen this team struggle on day one.
Yeah.
Yes, they had that one game at the beginning of the day where they did fantastic, but now this is the second time it's happened. And this is a big deal for a team that's sitting in the middle of the pack because the point gaps between the teams, I think it's between like 6th to 9th.
Correct, yeah.
It's very small. So to make it to top 3, that's a lot of points. That's going to bring you all the way up. I'm actually expecting Orange to make it to top 6 now because
Correct, yes.
6 was rather open.
Yeah.
5, I think the gap is a little bit too far. But
I
6,
feel like
yeah.
6 is exactly what they're aiming for, right? Because once again, the top 6 gets a direct invite
Right.
to the group stage of the Snapdragon Pro Series for FreeFire in Season 2. Why is that so important? Because the prize pool is insane. We've got a total of $300,000 US for all of the regions for Season 2. So,
Yes.
I mean, that is just taking Free Fire competition up to a whole new level. Snapdragon Pro Series is really, really
Thank you.
lighting up the scene.
I mean, it's life-changing for some of these teams, right?
Yep.
Because they're able to continue on with their esports career.
Yes.
But I think we need to give a thanks to our biggest hero for this tournament.
Yep, Snapdragon Elite Gaming. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, when winning matters, you know exactly who to look at. And Monster Energy, our co-sponsors, you get to unleash the beast most definitely. Here's their website. Hop on over to see exactly how they can aid you guys to deliver out there whenever energy is a part of that question. I mean, as shoutcasters, pro players out there, not just the energy, right? The sharpness, the focus.
power.
Yeah, absolutely. Is very important.
Now, speaking of power, knowledge is power as well. And if you do want to know more about the Snapdragon tournament, make sure you follow our Discord, join the community, and if you get in early, you're also going to get some information for what's going to be happening for Season 2. Because yes, Season 2 is basically confirmed at this point. So make sure you join us, say hello, and if you have any questions at all, please do feel free to ask within the community, and admin will be able to assist you. Now, we've got 2 more games left. We've got Kalahari coming up next as well. I think some of the teams are feeling a little anxious because the end is near.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say anxious because anxiety just took the booyah.
Well, maybe I was trying to do that too, but I was trying to be a little bit more subtle, right? I mean, you're just all out there with your anxiety jokes, but I think maybe I'm feeling anxious now because you're making me feel anxious. We're going to go for a quick break. Once you return, though, we'll jump right into Kalahari. We'll see you after this.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming and Monster Energy.
blow. This is my time with it though. This is my time to be way at the top. Me and my guys gon' pay out the block. I don't look like boss. Time's right, and I know the sea is walking in the limelight. Promise you won't wanna watch like a sci-fi. My guys are high risers, high time. My crown if you come to my side. I pledge allegiance for lifetime. My squad connected like Wi-Fi. We grind and you see the highlights. This my life. It ain't a game now. Me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way. You wasn't invited. Say you come to play. I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me. Then step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Game now, me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way, you wasn't invited. Say you come to play. I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me. Then step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way.
Welcome back to the FreeFire Snapdragon Pro Series. This is day number 2 of the Open Finals. And just when we thought GM Remy was about to run away with the competition, anxiety finally strikes back. And this is the first match that they are waking up in, right? And it's about time because that was game number 4. We only have 2 more rounds to go. And I'm pretty sure with that maneuver, anxiety has managed to snatch back that number 1 position. My name's AJ. I'm the Mustachio down here with the one and only Dadalee to bring you guys this amazing broadcast.
Well, I'm wondering if this might just be the team sort of swapping, because yesterday we saw GM Remy and Anxiety swapping booyahs. Not intentionally, but that was sort of what happened.
Yeah.
Is it basically half GM Remy today? Now is it going to be half Anxiety? We could be looking for a bit of a swap here, and I think it'll be very interesting if that does happen, because all of a sudden it'll be now up to GM Remy to close that gap.
Yeah.
It's not confirmed. It's not. We're not setting up a story or a plot. Nothing is fixed. This is all just down to the teams and the players, whether they can make it happen. If anything, it's down to Anxiety and whether they can make it happen.
Yeah,
and I feel like in that last game, if it wasn't for Anxiety that ran into GM Remy, I don't think GM Remy would have gotten the booyah because of that.
Yeah.
If Anxiety, let's take that team out of the picture. If it was K9, for example, I think GM Remy actually would have gotten the booyah. They were en route to getting it.
Absolutely, as they are all of those rounds, right? Because they very efficiently find those final circles. But looking at the round totals this time round, 24 points picked up by Anxiety.
12.
But the more important thing here is I want to see how many of those points they take over GM Remy themselves, because there is a total of 13 points here. We know GM Remy pulled away with 4 points. This is 9 points that Anxiety have managed to hop on over GM Remy to secure that number 1 spot. So this is a huge game for Anxiety. But K9 Esports, ones that are trying to catch up with the total league overall, have managed to secure 14 points in the 2nd spot this time round. For a team that is continuously putting this pressure on these podium finish teams,
yes,
they have done absolutely phenomenal for themselves. But the same can be said for Orange Esports. After their abysmal performance yesterday, they find so much more consistency today.
Now let's as well take a look at Anxiety stats for that previous round. They nailed 12 kills in that round alone. And with those 12 kills, they did only, I say only, 5,400 damage. That, sir, is an indicator that this team is able to not just grab those kills very quickly, but they're stealing kills, they're vulturing, they're getting those headshots, which is also very crucial in a game of FreeFire, because stealing kills away from another team, it does 2 things. You're stealing those points away from the other team, and you're putting it into your pocket.
Correct.
So to grab those kills, very, very significant. But to take a look at the overall standings here very quickly. Anxiety, 138 points.
And K9.
GM Remy, 129.
Yeah. And those 9 points between the 2 teams. And K9 Esports hopping over AK or Ultraman
because of the booyah.
Yep, one booyah on their side. AKO Ultraman won't really be liking the position that they hold on to. Warsick Philippines, on the other hand, will be delighted with their spot because they're now 10 points behind both K9 as well as AKO Ultraman, which means a podium finish might now be possible for Warsick Philippines after all of that effort that they put out there onto the battlefield. So if they can secure one solid booyah, you know that's more than enough. Hard to get.
Yes.
We found them, finding it a little hard to get a few points out there in the battlefield, but, slow and steady. They themselves have managed to slide into that 6th position.
But can they keep that 6th position, right? That's the big question for this team that has still, unfortunately, run hot and cold, which they have done historically, and they continue to do so during the grand finals.
Yeah, and Legion has taken over as the worst performing team in the grand finals at the moment, as Orange Esports finds a little bit of momentum to back out of the bottom 3.
Yes, but they're kind of stuck in 8th place, it seems. They haven't been able to wriggle out of that position.
But they're getting close. I mean, they're at 62 points. Who's next? Kalahari Philippines have 63, so there's this 1 point there.
Yes.
Hard to get at 66, so there's a difference of 4 points between
but they
Orange
still
and hard to get, right?
to get over because they at least want that top 6 finish, right?
Yeah.
Like that's
And
the
they're close.
absolute minimum.
Yeah.
They are close.
Yeah,
But,
but to get to the 5th spot, like you said, a bit of a hustle. Orange Esports, based on their current performance.
that's like 2 booyahs, I think, for these teams to guarantee
Yeah.
5th, which is it's a big ask.
We don't want to count them out just yet, but they, because of the main fact that they have found better rounds today as opposed to yesterday. But if they can find 2 solid rounds back to back to close off the grand finals, Orange Esports should be able to slide into that 5th place. Although that wouldn't really make a huge difference to them, because we know right now what they're mainly aiming for is that direct qualify into the group stages for Season 2.
Yes. So we've still got 2 games to go. We absolutely can see change on this leaderboard, but absolute minimum for these teams, top 6 is where you're aiming for. And besides the top 6, if you're in top 6, then you're trying to go as high as possible because you want to earn as much money as you can, right? Because we also have that cash prize. So all eyes are going to be on Anxiety and GM Remy. I think that one is going to go without question. K9 Esports and AKO also going to be major contenders. And I think all of a sudden Warsick is now going to have a target on their back. They're no longer a underdog per se. They are a top dog. They've qualified to be up there.
Yeah, and I opened this point of discussion earlier on, and we will go ahead to continue with it, and that is how GM Remy is in a lot of trouble, right? Because you did ask, what is that one key point, what's that one weakness that GM Remy is bringing in here that other teams might capitalize on, and that is their firepower on the battlefield. They really have a knack of finding that final circle, but they've been avoiding all of those engagements. Anxiety, on the other hand, have been quite open to taking on fights on the battlefield. They've got 20 kills more than GM Remy, and that shows the capability of Anxiety. And if Anxiety can just focus now on finding those final circles more consistently,
Finding GM Remy before the finals.
I think that'll be fine, right? Because
You think so?
kills overall, they should be able to sustain themselves. It's just that Anxiety wasn't focusing on the game of survival. And if they now did that, I mean, they're just one solid game away from outdoing GM Remy on that department as well.
Well, I mean, every team is one game away from getting something.
Yeah.
So whoever gets that really good game, it's going to benefit them quite a bit. But here we go. We're going to jump into this match, and it looks like the blue zone is going to be spawning in that bottom right-hand corner of the map, which I suspect the same occupant is going to take that circle, GM Remy, unless they change things up a little bit, which I will find bizarre, right? Because even...
Suddenly Anxiety's there. GG.
Well, okay, so there we go. GM Remy slowly heading over to that location.
Oh, but
and
who's next?
Who's next?
Kalahari?
I was going to say, are they going to try... Are they...
They are.
Is Divine going to try as well?
Oh, good luck, GM Remy. Anxiety's going to run away
There's
now.
3. There's 3 teams there. This is a war zone.
Yeah, but, I guess the blessing in disguise is...
Melee!
Blessing in disguise is it's a high tilt zone. Oi, Remiel! Almost getting taken down from the equation, but Shura will be the one to be dropped by Aguila. No killing coming through just yet. It is just purely a knock, and the time turner was quite timely there. As Aguila now quickly repositions to back away from those engagements. No knock coming through, but what a turnaround as Aguila gets caught around the corner by the one and only Mr. D, the in-game leader for the side of Divine, and Divine recovers. Newbie picked up, and it will be one down on the side of GM Remy. Remiel has got nothing to work with in terms of a medkit, so he needs to quickly back away from this fight.
This is what I've been asking for all day. For
Yeah.
teams to actually put the pressure onto GM Remy. I wasn't expecting 3 teams to actually end up in this blue zone, but it's really kicked them out. And I think if anything, your GM Remy, you're going to be shaken. You need to find a new location to try and grab your loot. And there's actually a major risk of trying to find this new location at the same time because you don't know if there's anyone already there that might just snipe you while you're running.
Welcome, GM Remy,
Welcome
says
home.
Anxiety. As now they are all locked into their defensive positions already. GM Remy out of the pan, straight into the fire. And what better fire than the players of Anxiety to just blaze them up before they can get to that final circle. And like what we said, right, you know, one solid game of better placement points will quickly allow Anxiety to outdo the performance of
Okay, hang
GM
on.
Remy.
Toby? I'm a
in
little bit worried here for Toby because remember, right, he's all alone. His allies are very far away. If he gets knocked, there's no way Toby gets picked up. But the question as well we need to ask is, does GM Remy have enough on them to comfortably fight Toby as well?
Toby has got the Woodpecker, so he should be able to take some of these long-range engagements, but he's got no information whatsoever now on the other players who are quickly repositioning. So Toby, although he knows that there is a squad just beyond this little elevation of the hill, off-screen Hawkeye managing to find Zen OP. The player's not going to be too happy with that. Divine Hawkeye, Mr. D down on the ground as well. Hawkeye just getting all of the damage dealt single-handedly to the players of Divine. You can be Divine, but when you've got Hawkeye, one of the Avengers on your side, you know exactly who's going to lose. But as I say that, Shura drops Hawkeye. Can he take him out of the equation as well? Time Turner pulled out, and Shura will be able to deal with that situation in a timely manner. Quickly recovering himself now as Divine, only having 2 players to sustain this battle with. Anxiety, Toby knocks down Remiel. That's a GGWP. That engagement now is going to hurt the players of GM Remy just a little bit more and allow Anxiety to run away with this championship.
Oh boy, what a spicy game this is indeed. So GM Remy, who have been the kings for the first 3 games, and even Retus has actually gotten knocked down as well.
Oh!
The team is at, they've got no kills if I remember correctly.
Nothing, ma'am. Absolutely nothing. So remember, one matchup of a good play can make sure these players outdo them, but they are about 10 points away when it comes to those placement points. So the best thing Anxiety can do right now is to just secure that booyah.
And
who's next? Kalahari Philippines getting their own 2 players knocked down onto the ground, but the prioritization instead of engagement to pick up their own down players is what's going to put Who's Next Kalahari Philippines in front of the other squad. And now, once again, a full team.
Okay, I'm really worried for GM Remy now because we saw yesterday, for whatever reason, the last 2 games, and Anxiety sort of had this issue as well. These teams really struggled for the last 2 games of the day. We are on our second last game. GM Remy have officially been knocked out of this game. They will end with a donut, 0 points. We are going to see a change in the leaderboard, but is it... If you're Remy, you're going to be worried about the next game as well.
Absolutely right. No doubt. Invoker. Oh, one more shot from McCrory would have gotten the job done. But Invoker quickly hops on through the window on the opposite side and saves himself. But McCrory not wanting to waste a lot of time. Invoker backs away, pulls out the glue wall. Well, there will be no time turner played just yet. Invoker still has an opportunity here. But the grenade being cooked up by one of the best grenadiers in the competition. McCrory hits it once again. This guy might have not found his momentum, but he still remembers his angles.
Gets it beautifully as well, so nice little pick off. Warsix, though, going to be disappointed. This was a team that was coming up on that leaderboard that was competing with K9 for their position, but now no way they overtake that 3rd place. So, sorry, trying to climb up to that 4th place from AKO, which is going to be disappointing. But, Orange Esports going to run into Anxiety here, and it looks like Anxiety are in a very interesting predicament, but Jibat is down for Orange, so Orange are only playing with 3 men.
Oh, they've got the launch pad as well. We saw one player quickly reposition. Kanoho! will be tagged just a little bit, but the grenade does not do a lot of damage. Sorry, not the launch pad. They had the grappling hook to quickly reposition. Decos now getting tagged up. Barba has got the Mag 7 to deal with Storm, who is currently cutting down the pace, the distance between themselves as well as the Anxiety squad. But on that note, they back away alongside Rosso X, but straight for Legion to perhaps catch them out. Chessman, as usual, picking up the highest point available to give all of that information to the rest of his team members. And this is something that Orange Esports are more than acquainted with at the moment, as Barba now gets knocked down onto the ground. One good glue wall can save him, but Barba is going to get taken out of the equation as Decos now puts that final bullet into the coffin. Chessman knocks Decos down onto the ground. A great trade right back, and Orange Esports will suffer.
I mean, I can't blame them for wanting to try and get that kill onto Barba. Like, they knew it was Anxiety. I think if they try and run away, they just get picked off for free. So sometimes you just got to go for those trades. Completely understandable, but I mean, this is going to hurt Orange in the long run, because this is a team that really, really needs points for these last 2 rounds, because they are trying to get into that 6th spot. And unless they do better than hard to get and who's next Color Slug, I just don't see this team being able to break into top 6.
Players as they find the next circle. Danger zone pops up, but it's not going to catch anyone off guard. Auto knockout Ultraman. The team that's doing all right so far.
Okay.
Yeah, all right so far. They are looking for that 2nd place win, but they are about 26 points behind GM Remy. So hustle, hustle, hustle
But
is
Jampong sees
all
them.
the strategy for the final 2 games in here.
Yep, Jampong's seen this, and he's going to try and go for that last player onto Too Fast. He can't quite get the straggler, which is going to be unfortunate. If he was able to get that pick, it would have been a free kill for him, but Jampong missing that opportunity, but also giving away his position. That's going to be the unfortunate thing.
I mean, that's not the first time ORB would be doing that. And Jampong, as we talk about that, gets tagged up by Axel, but Axel has to reposition as Too Fast gets knocked down onto the ground. Axel's there for the save. Too Fast right back on his feet. And if it was not for that knock, Jampong would have been taken out of the equation already. Axel is that sharpshooter you want on your side, no doubt whatsoever.
Yeah, actually spotting out hard to get as well. So he is playing a wonderful job for his team, being a sentry, scouting out where these teams are coming from and being able to cover their backsides. But seems like AKO here being spotted out by ORV. Diesel going to be the one to be the main scout for the team to see which direction they decide to go on here. And they're going to try and edge along the edge. And I don't think they're going to be caught out here at all. But ORV, they're keeping tabs on them. What's the play here for AKO? I think they're just going to play safe. There's really no reason for them to really try and contest ORV for the compound. Just play safe. I mean, it's Kalahari. It's a slow map. It's a big map. You can take your time.
Yeah, but it's AKO and, you know, it's ORV, so they should be able
It's AKO, it's ORV.
Yeah, I mean, ORV will go down pretty fairly easily up against AKO Ultraman.
Well,
no
I mean,
doubt.
AKO doesn't know that it's ORV yet, right? Like,
Now, I'm talking about if that engagement does happen.
if it
so-
happens, sure.
Yeah, but they do need to look for a high ground though. AKO, they are just at the elevation where you don't really want to be in. If you are at Kalahari, you need to take advantage of all of these high grounds. But it's not a play they are going for just yet, as they just do not see a viable opening for those rotations. Hard to get on the other hand as they reposition. The players of EVA seem to have spotted them from afar, just beyond the horizon.
Yep, they've spotted them, and oh, okay, we've got who's next Color Slug here, going to be going up onto that high ground. We've got Twinkle up front to help scout things out with his team. They're being shot at though, but luckily no one's been knocked down, so they're going to be able to creep on in here. And I love the positioning for teams that try and use these little pillars here to hide, because you're hiding down here forces enemy teams to have to run in and engage with you, which means sometimes you see some teams do crazy things, you know, jumping down from that high ground to the low ground to try and get that backstab. But punishment down here, it's pretty easy to make that play happen. And there is also another funny play you can make happen around here, and that is stacking. You stack your whole team in one little corner and make people think, oh, it's just one player. Nope, it's 4. Good luck. I'm not sure if you've seen it, AJ. It's brilliant. It's funny. It's hilarious.
It is hilarious. But you know, the players of Who's Next Philippines, Who's Next Kalasag Philippines, are not going to get that lucky just yet. Nobody around them to take advantage of just yet.
No
And I
one
do
taking the
agree with
bait.
you, right? One of the best, plays from this particular position is just waiting for that circle to kind of just flush everyone out and catch off anyone that hops on up. Then the fall damage, first of all, is gonna already hurt those players who are hopping on off of that platform. And then obviously you just take a couple of bullets from your inventory, put it through their hearts, and pick up a extra kill point for yourself. Jampong from afar will be able to earn one off of the players of Who's Next Kalasag Philippines. And obviously they're not going to be too happy with that at all. But ORV, they do have that vantage point right up top. And it looks like Who's Next is not really using all of this cover well.
No, not really. But I do have a concern though. Like, even though ORV are sitting on the high ground, it just, I don't really think this matters so much for this team because we haven't really seen them be able to capitalize on this high ground, right? Like, if you're able to get those solid knocks while occupying the high ground, then sure, you're deadly, you're going to be able to make the most of it and farm kills. But that just, this is not the squad to have this really happen with, so I don't feel like this team is really threatening.
Not until they strike.
I mean, well, the thing is, not until they're able to get those knocks, which
Yeah.
hasn't happened yet. They haven't
Yeah,
been
of
able
course,
to
yeah.
get them. So,
See if they can
I
perhaps
just-
change something for themselves. As EVA continue, this is one of those teams that have got so much potential, so many veteran players on their side. But abysmal performance out there on the battlefield. I mean, I have no idea what happened to them.
yeah, it could be maybe a day two thing. They just weren't able to get into the groove. Like, you can tell that some teams, they really rely on momentum from the previous game. If they have a really great last game, then they have the confidence to walk into that next game and really play their hearts out and do fantastic. But other teams, they just sort of stumble and they're sort of just stuck on their shoelaces for the entire day. Untie your shoelaces, retie them, do whatever you need to do, but some people just seem to get stuck.
Ooh, Roy very quickly pulls up the glue wall, saves himself from a little bit of trouble there, but Forbit's not slowing down the pace at all. Goes in for the chase. Roy just behind, pulls out the time turner, but Forbit's was already inside of it. Forbit's now has the opportunity for the takedown and gets the kill, and he has a partner on for the rush as well, but Axel picks off Daymoon from afar. Can Daymoon now be brought right back up as too fast? AKO from up top. Axel shuts down Forbits from the equation, and Axel continues to be the thorn in the side of EVA continue. With that high ground, he's going to be as effective in all of these engagements.
AKO looking threatening in this matchup, and if I'm at McRory, I'd be terrified. He's all alone, he's on the low ground, he does not have a positional advantage, so he's actually praying that AKO are occupied with another team so he can safely crawl up to that high ground. But I'm very sure that they know McRory is there, so someone's going to keep an eye out on their 6. But as we can see, actually, on the eastern side, we've got K9 doing quite a bit of work because they are under fire from AKO.
Woohoo! And you know, one very crazy thing is the fact that anxiety has been absolutely missing from all of this action. And as I say that, Chessman manages to get a knock onto Dizo. Can he find the kill as well? Kushko down on the ground. Legion is not having a great time at all. And AKO Ultraman shuts down Tom from Orange Esports. A 3-way battle out there on the battlefield. It is all for everyone. It is the opportunity for them to eat up before the circle continues to close on in. Just all out chaos breaking down at Kalahari, Danley.
And it looks like we've got 2 lone wolves down here on the bottom. McRory. Rosso actually looking to try and fight McRory, but this is not a person you want to 1v1. Who is going to get it? Clearly McRory, the better player in this scenario. He's going to be able to continue to hide on this little cliffside, but he's got to move at some point. He can't stick around because this is now going to be a very painful circle, but how can he get up there safely? It's a very steep cliff.
You need that grappling hook for yourself, and that's one of the main reasons
Look
to
at ORV
focus
though.
on loading that up.
Hug in that
ORV,
corner.
yeah, platform. That's not the best of spots because right after this, as they hop on off, Who's Next Kalasag Philippines will be able to pick off 4 easy kills, and ORV won't be able to do much about that at all. K9 Esports now being taken down one after the other. AKO Ultraman finally finding that momentum to strike them down.
Look at hard to get as well. Just using that cliffside, beautiful position. That's going to be so hard to get knocks on this team.
Oh,
After all,
Chessman!
Chessman goes down, but they also managed to get the trade. So Dizo goes down as well. But this should be a rather easy pick up from both teams. So no one dies as of yet. But Lemon actually getting taken down there by Batman. Hard to get, putting in some work into this circle as well. The circle's getting very small. It's going to be in the center. No high ground at all. It looks like someone fell to their death. Ouch.
Yeah, this is no squad versus squad. This is like one guy's hitting this guy, that guy's got his attention played to someone else.
This is such a ridiculous circle too, AJ, because look, there's no cover there.
Yeah, absolutely no cover whatsoever. So whoever who looted up well, whoever can use all of those glue walls well. Anxiety, just not one of them. As the players of Hard to Get and Eva continue back each other up. Basic taken out of the equation. Kanoho down here, but has got the grenade launcher to work with. That zone just not on his side, literally, as it leaves him high and dry with the glue wall right in front of him. Kanoho still struggling to get out, but Anxiety loses their pace, and that is all because of the glue walls as well as the blue zone.
Oh, that choke is going to hurt Anxiety, which means the remaining 4 teams are going to try and compete for this booyah here. Who's next? Kalahari going to be the next team to go down. Now down to 3. Hard to Get, looking to be in a very good position to get this booyah themselves, but they will have to fight AKO and K9 for this. Now, K9, we do know this is such an aggressive team. They're going to try and bomb rush. Shira immediately going down on the side of Hard to Get. Now down to 3 players left. K9. Blanca's down. They will manage to get that pickup. AJ, K9, Normain goes down, but can they get this? AKO going to be playing with that low ground. They're clumped in together. I'm worried here, AJ.
These are the 2 teams who are currently all equal on the leaderboard with 103 points each. The winners obviously secure the booyah and launch themselves over the other squad. But can the kill points make a huge difference here? As Pain now tries to maneuver around all of these glue walls, spots out 2 players at the very same time, manages to knock one down, but AKO Ultraman gets taken out of the equation as K9 Esports secures booyah number 2.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Absolutely, no doubt at all. And K9 Esports, yes, it was heavy pressure coming through from AKO Ultraman, but there's just no way of telling whether or not they've managed to get this done, because I do not recall seeing the kills on the side of K9 Esports. No. But AKO Ultraman, on the other hand, they were picking up quite a decent number of knocks as well as kills before getting into that final zone, right? And playing it against the players of Anxiety as well, not allowing them to make it through to that final circle. And that was courtesy of multiple teams ganging up on them.
Yep. I mean, going into that final circle, I felt so bad for Kanoho, right? Like, he basically got stuck between a cactus and his glue walls. And he didn't have an effective way of getting rid of his glue walls as well. So he was just stuck there. He was praying. He was, I mean, kind of hurts, you know, staying next to a cactus. I think that thing would hurt.
Yeah.
But I was sort of hoping for Anxiety to get the booyah there, right? It would have been a great way to end the day. Maybe they don't get the booyah for Purgatory later, but to get one here, I think it would have solidified their first placing.
I cannot be more happier with the way this round ended, because the 2 teams that have got their eyes set on that podium finish are the ones to make it through to the final circle, and they are quite equal when it comes to that firepower, right? We saw how things broke down there, but AKO Ultraman just being the ones who were slightly unlucky with those final few engagements. And
they were sort of spread out too.
Yeah.
Right?
But let's take a look at exactly who is making all of this happen. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, none other than Snapdragon Elite Gaming, when winning matters.
When winning matters. It matters now, because we are the show is coming to a close. We've got 1 more game to go, but the players, they still have the energy to play, AJ.
Absolutely. You get to unleash the beast with Monster Energy. Make sure you check out their website and see exactly what they've got lined up in terms of products for all of us in the world of games and esports.
And of course, don't forget, if you haven't already, join our Discord group for some more information on any Snapdragon tournaments. We've got Season 2 coming up very soon, so if you want to join in and at least know what's happening, you're going to be informed right there. You'll be the first to know.
Yeah.
That's why you're going to join our Discord group. But we've got 1 more game to go. I can't believe it.
And let's see exactly what we can catch in this final matchup. There might just be an interview coming up for all of us. We are still waiting for production to confirm that. And yes, it will happen. K9 Blank, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Let's see exactly what K9 Esports has to say.
Blank.
Hello, Blank.
Blank.
Okay, so Blank. What happened during these tournaments? I thought that, you know, K9 going to perform better, but currently K9 has not been performing well.
It's because of we have a different teammate right now, and we use different tactics. And at the first, it's not that it's not working. But as you see in the last game, our tactic works.
Alright. So basically, K9 has always been performing on the on the 5th and 6th game. Is there like a strategy?
Yes.
Because 5th and 6th game K9, 5th and 6th game is always K9.
Yes, that's our secret.
Very interesting secret. Okay, now K9, GM Remy and Anxiety. Anxiety has almost secured the champion. Do you think GM Remy can chase back the points, or maybe who knows, K9 suddenly managed to secure 20 kills points and then another booyah or something?
That's our secret.
Power simple lah jawapan dia.
Our secret, is it? Okay, my last question to you. Do you have anything to say to your friends, to your family, or of course to your girlfriend or anyone out there?
To anyone that who is supporting K9, especially our girlfriends here at the back, thank you. And you are single, I forgot. Sorry. Yes, and thank you to everyone who supported us from the start. Add me, guys.
Who's that? Boleh add. Okay, everyone can add. We can't really see, but yeah, add him to carry game, you know?
Carry game,
Can carry game.
Carry game push rank.
Push rank, confirm win. Alright, thank you so much, K9, and good luck for your final match.
Yeah. Thank you.
Man, those boys are happy. I love the smiles. Like they're just, it doesn't matter what. You're always seeing them happy, showing off their girlfriends, trying to find a girlfriend for the last person.
No, he's not looking for a girlfriend. He's just looking for a partner.
Oh, sorry, dynamic duo. That was the word yesterday.
There's a partner out there on the battlefield to play a couple of duo rounds with, right? I feel like he will be able to do them a lot of justice. I feel like he will be able to carry them up all the way to the top. But of course, the first thing that Blank wants to say to him is, you got to get that phone out of my face and let me finish this interview. We're going to take a quick short break. Let's see exactly what breaks down in the final round when we get back.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming and Monster Energy.
Welcome back to the FreeFire Snapdragon Pro Series. This is day number 2 of the Grand Finals, and it is the final matchup right now. We are on game number 6 at Purgatory. My name's AJ. I am the Mustachio alongside Danley, bringing you guys the broadcast of the day.
You've said your name backwards.
Tell me.
You said your name backwards. Okay, you are the Mustachio AJ. You have scolded everyone that I know, and maybe me as well, because I have said it backwards.
I am AJ.
The Mustachio AJ.
All right.
I love how I've got PTSD for your names. It's fine. I care.
You can all do with some flat laughs sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. That was one of those times. But anyway, we now have the teams in the 3rd and 4th place really putting out the hustle there. Let's take a look at the round standings and see exactly how well they did and how much did they manage to outclass teams like Anxiety
I
as
think
well.
we have to start with the elephant in the room, right? Which is GM Remy.
Yeah.
This team has dominated the first 3 games today. They looked to take the crown.
Yeah.
They've dropped to 2nd place. Anxiety have come back and they're creeping forward because GM Remy finished this round with 0 points. So the gap from 1st to 2nd is widening.
Yeah, I mean, earlier on, they had about 9 points between them, and with the extra 11 that Anxiety has picked up now, that makes it 20. So GM Remy,
It's not just that too.
in the final game, they now need to get 20 points more than Anxiety if they want to grab that number 1 spot.
Hang on.
So that's insane.
There's another scenario that's probably happening as well, right? There's a very big risk
Yep.
that GM Remy even loses 2nd place
Mhm.
to K9 or
Oh, of
AKA
course, yes.
Ultraman,
Yeah.
right? I need to see the final scores because I think this is going to show us how big that gap is because
Yeah.
with K9 performing now, we saw this from yesterday as well, right? K9 did way better towards the later portions of the day.
Yep, absolutely correct. And now they're just about 9 points behind GM Remy, if my maths do me right. But
We'll
we
find
are
out in
going
a
to be
second.
looking at the overall leaderboards in a little bit. So unfortunate for GM Remy and what has befallen them after quite a breakout run in the 2nd day of this grand finals. But nothing is over just yet. The fat lady hasn't really sung, and the games are still gonna have one more round before they all get done and dusted and settled. The team statistics first before the overall scores. 39-39. That's the damage out of hard to get through those 7 kills this time.
That's really low. I think up until this point, that's probably the lowest we've seen.
Yeah.
And for 7 kills as well, that is very significant because you're getting those KOs. You're not just sitting there dealing damage but not getting the knocks, which is the most important thing. You have to get that final hit. So
Decent performance from hard to get, and you know, from yesterday, hard to get points. Today, they seem to have squeezed into the top 6.
Yes.
And with this solid performance, once again, they only go ahead to solidify their standing. Still curious about how the overall leaderboards is going to be, and of course, how Orange Esports is currently doing because they were aiming for the top 6, but they dropped instead. But Anxiety with the number 1 spot, 149 points. Like we said, 20 points above GM Remy. Thank goodness my math's all right. And GM Remy now, they are nervous. They've got anxiety because K9 Esports, you know the worst thing, or the worst, I mean, yeah, literally the worst thing to have hot on your heels is a bunch of K9 ready to bite.
yeah, and I think in particular for today, we saw them embracing their wild instincts. They were not just dogs, okay? They embraced their wolf instincts. They were hunting as a pack. It was very scary to watch, but
Thank God it's not a Malaysian team because a lot of Malaysians are scared of dogs, so
I mean,
unfortunate.
I mean, if it's wolves, it's
Unfortunate
even
if it was.
worse, right? Like, wolves eat everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. But yeah, if I was GM Remy, I'd be really worried. The thing is, do they drop in that blue zone again? Because we saw them in that last round get heavily punished because 2 teams dropped right on top of them as well.
Absolutely.
It can absolutely happen again.
Yes, they can.
Is it going to force GM Remy to play out of their comfort zone? Because that blue zone has been their comfort zone up until this point.
It most definitely has, right? And, you know, it was about time that those plays catch up with them. And, you know, the only unfortunate thing that could have happened to GM Remy had happened in round number 5. But to change your play style for the very last round if you do not have a coach or an in-game leader who has been doing all of that homework, then finding a drop spot which is going to be totally empty is going to be a difficult thing for GM Remy. So they do not have much of a choice. They have to stick to their guns. They have to look for that high tier loot zone once again, because let us not forget, that was their secret sauce to finding those victories. Right?
Yeah.
So I mean, they need to go all out. They need to get more than 20 points more than anxiety. So they are in a situation where they just cannot afford to not get into that high tier loot zone. So GM Remy is stuck in a predicament.
I mean, does it make sense to drop sooner from the plane to try and get there faster?
I mean, it depends on where the high tier loot zone is. The guy jumps out as soon as the match starts, and the high tier loot zone's all the way there.
No, I mean, like you drop way before, right? Because you're gonna land faster.
Fair enough.
You hit the ground quicker. So anyone that tries to jump a little bit later, they'll get back later. They might get to the loot a little bit too slow, and then you've managed to get the stuff and you can shoot people down. I mean, that's
clearly there are a lot of things running in our heads, and we know there are some things running in your heads as well. So make sure you throw your thoughts onto social media with the hashtag Snapdragon Pro Series so that we can get the chance to feature you guys on broadcast as well.
Yes. And also to our Twitch viewers, and if you aren't already on Twitch, jump onto Twitch, because make sure you throw your predictions in, because that's the only platform you can throw your predictions in, and let us know who do you think is going to be getting the final booyah of the tournament. Yes, it's the final round, because after this we are going to be crowning our champion and our top 6 teams that's going to be heading straight to Season 2. So let's jump right into it. It's Purgatory. Are we going to see a water circle? Woo! There's the blue zone. Now here's the question. Where's GM Remy?
Let's see exactly where GM Remy goes into, and yes, it will be the high tier loot zone. No worry. Trying to tease them, but they see a team already there a little bit earlier, so GM Remy is not going to have anyone hot drop their high tier zone just yet. Eva Continue, on the other hand, just breaking up a part. Divine not going to be too happy as Hard to Get joins them at Central.
Wow, this is
Look at this run. This is a marathon as to who can get to the weapons first. I mean, this is like a game that we used to play in primary school, and Newbie wins out all of those primary battles. It's going to be Batman taken off of his perch from the get-go, and since the Vigilante is no longer there to protect the players of Hard to Get, it looks like Divine are going to be able to rise up to the top. Jay-Z down onto the ground as well, and Shura, this time the one who strikes. Divine off to a great start in this round.
This is terrible for Hard to Get, because this team is currently occupying 6th place, which as of now, yes, they do automatically qualify to go to to Season 2. But if you end this round with 0 points, you are basically putting your 6th position at risk of being stolen. And the competition is not too far. The next team that's in line to get 6th place is Who's Next Kalahari, which I think they're about 6 points, right? Oh, so they're... My math is 7 points away.
Yeah, which is not a lot at all, right? Especially if Hard to Get actually bombs out early. But it looks like Divine disengage. Hard to Get backs away as well.
There's still 2 players.
But, yeah, they've split up already, and this does not seem to be the best of situations to be stuck in when you are at risk of being kicked out of that 6th spot, right? You want that qualifier. But, you know, Hard to Get is the kind of squad that will be able to work through the play-ins as well. So I'm not too concerned about that. But obviously, you know, if you can make it without the effort, then you want that. So hopefully they can secure that for themselves. A lot to check out in Hard to Get. But Anxiety, on the other hand, the team that holds on to that #1 spot today, it is all theirs to lose, ladies and gentlemen, boys singles. 3,000 Singapore dollars on the line, and Anxiety already have their left hand on it, just waiting for their right hand to make their way to it as well.
Yeah, and very interesting circle. So it's going to be a very southern one. It is more towards Fire Brigade. So we could be seeing a river circle. Not could, but probably are going to see a river circle, because I don't know why the circles just tend to gravitate towards there.
What's this guy doing, man? The players from GM Remy catch hold of him. Aguilar pulling out a unnecessary time turner. There was not going to be a retaliation from Russ. And as Aguilar now repositions, will be able to catch the back of Russ, who gets sprayed down onto the ground. Russ, there's not going to be a save available for him, and GM Remy pick up the very first kill for themselves. And I have no idea what Russ was thinking at that point in time.
This is... Okay, so that was very peculiar, because you have to know, if you're right next to the blue zone, it just makes sense to think that GM Remy's going to be there. Doesn't it make sense?
No, and on top of that, they saw a team drop in that area. There's no reason whatsoever to send any one of your team members close to that place.
What if the play is you think GM Remy's gone and you want to go there and pick up whatever scraps are left over?
You know,
Maybe.
when I was in school, my teacher told me, when you assume, unfortunately, you make an ass out of you and me. So assumption's not really the best way.
You missed the word might. Okay, I think you got to throw a might in there. There's always going to be the chance that maybe they're gone.
Yeah.
Maybe they're still there. You don't know until you go in and they learn the hard lesson. They're still there. Don't go there.
Either way, Russ isn't going to be too pleased because in the final round of the day, the guy unfortunately gets put right back into the lobby a little too early. Tacular joining the one and only Invoker at the very edge here as they try to circle around Anxiety, which is going to open up that opportunity for Anxiety to pick up a few kill points early as well, and hard to get.
Yes.
Rotating in straight towards K9 Esports.
I'm not a fan of this because you've shown 2 players to cross the river. That if you're Anxiety, you also need to think like, okay, where's the other 2 players? Maybe they're coming behind.
Yeah.
So you are separating your team. You're splitting into pairs. You might just lose a pair here. I'm a little skeptical about this play, but we will check in on them a little bit later on. But yeah, hard to get. They're stuck in a rock between a rock and a hard place. They're right next to.
Absolutely right, and they can't even rotate away as they might get
Sort of
flanked off by
stuck,
Anxiety
yeah.
later on. So they are just going to be chilling around the mill for a little bit longer. Chessman inside of the watchtower spots out Joy as well as Too Slow. Are they going to be able to get across a little bit faster? Too Slow just playing against his name at this point of time as he swims as quickly as possible across that body of water, and they should be able to get into Central untouched, unharmed.
But they need to get onto land first. There we go. All right, so they're going to be able to just continue on their journey towards the
Aguilar! Twinkle dropped down onto the ground already. No twinkle, twinkle, little star. But can they get that final shutdown as well? As who's next? Kalahari Philippines. The team that is trying to secure that 6th place. Trying to kick out the one and only Hard to Get. But perhaps GM Remy can assist Hard to Get a little bit more here as they continue this attack. It looks like Fura has no choice. He cannot disengage. Ramiel is there for the backup. And now that ice grenade is going to be forcing Fura away. Yet another ice grenade as well comes flying towards him. The save zone leaves both of these squads out high and dry. And look at that flank coming through from the one and only Aguila, but it's a little bit too far away to do any much of damage.
This is actually really peculiar for GM Remy because we're not used to seeing this team make these kind of plays. Like if you know or you have information that a team is in that compound, you would assume that they would just avoid it. But I guess since it's the last round, they feel desperate in terms of getting those points to try and claim back that first place. So GM Remy, they're going to take this risk. Are they going to get punished?
You see, I like Aguila's point of view, right? Because he went in there for the long flank, and the players were about to run out of that compound straight into him. But the moment Aguila did not show any trigger discipline at all, those players quickly hunkered down in and maintained their positions inside of this house. So now they are playing the game of wait and see. Will GM Remy step on inside and get wiped out, or will they just run this clock down? Who's next? Kalahari Philippines are not moving an inch. They're waiting for GM Remy to make that first move. And Fura does exactly that as he knocks Hawkeye down onto the ground. It will be Yano next. Ritus strikes right back. Tacular off screen. Knocks Shira down onto the ground as well as Hard to Get removed from the equation.
Wow.
Who's next? Kalahari Philippines drops out first. And the players of GM Remy have done Hard to Get such a huge favor.
They mean business. I can feel the fire here for GM Remy. They're feeling the pressure. They want to take that first place back. And they also want to try and develop that gap between them and K9 as well. So GM Remy, they are not here to play around. They are here to play. It's Orange Esports though, playing around the edge of this island. And it looks like they might be able to get this flank here onto War 6. But look at who's on their tail as well. I don't think they know Orange is here, but it's Anxiety. And the thing is, as soon as Orange fire and reveal their position, they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Absolutely. Anxiety will be able to hear those shots, and since they're so close to the players of Orange Esports, no doubt at all they will go out hunting
Hard
for a
to
couple
get.
of kills. Hard to get now,
Oh.
eliminated from the equation. And so this now puts Eva Continue in a great position because Eva Continue is 10 points behind Hard to Get. All Eva Continue needs to do is get about 12 points in total from this round, and they'll be able to qualify directly for Season 2. And now Orange Esports, they assume that high ground advantage, and Anxiety immediately gets put into a unfortunate situation here, unfortunate position. They cannot engage and they don't have much cover. Even those glue walls will be absolutely ineffective against the elevation advantage that Orange Esports has.
Hang on, look at ORV. They are right behind Anxiety, but do they know that this is Anxiety here? I don't think they were expecting it. They will see now. And boy, ooh, I don't know. AJ, I'm not liking this.
Well, ORV came in here for the engagement. Kanoho did get sprayed down, but a quick backup from Toby from afar was able to save Kanoho's life. And now Toby himself, after saving his team member from the brink of annihilation, picks him right back up. And ORV says, I want to live to tell the tale, and they back away from the engagement. Anxiety will also get to breathe a sigh of relief. Divine, on the other hand, runs straight into Wasik Philippines, and he gets sprayed down onto the ground. The players of Divine have nowhere else to go. Wasik Philippines, a good time turner pulled out here by Too Slow just to give them a little bit of extra time to heal up, but Newbie's not wasting any time on his end. He might get backstabbed here as the players of Wasik Philippines reposition, pulling out a time turner. Joey, he is going to be the guy who gets this done, but a double glue wall, a triple glue wall pulled out by Newbie. He has got the Mag 7, but he leaves his back wide open. No one has found him just yet though, Dadley.
Yeah, Toxic's actually going down to Normain on the other side of the map as well. It looks like a lot of these teams are trying to go in for these fights, but War6 will be able to play with this brick wall. Mr. D is just over there, past those glue walls. He's got a grenade. I don't think it's going to land on anybody. Oh, Invoker getting caught, and he will be deleted as well. So War6, they are now down to 3 players, and we all know how big Invoker is when it comes to the damage dealing department for War6's lineup.
Wasik Philippines, they are
Jabat.
looking for that 4th place to replace IKO.
Can he get Jabat? No.
Spectacular,
Eva
not
Continue.
accurate enough. And Eva Continue bombs out as well. It looks like they are not going to continuously rise up to the top. Can Orange Esports now have that opportunity to make it through, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? 66 points. They're quite a distance away from hard to get. But this is that opportunity to continue climbing up the leaderboard as the 2 teams in front of them get taken out very early from the equation. And Wasik Philippines not doing themselves a lot of favor at all after they lose Invoker. Tacula! That backstab! Newbie about to find Too Slow as well, but a great maneuver from Too Slow just to back away, but Newbie finds that flank. Too Slow now engages, and Newbie, beautiful Mag 7 annihilation.
Oh man, this is devastating for the team. At least Divine are able to pick up those kills. They're now sitting on 5. They're not, surprisingly enough, they're not the kill leader. We are looking at a couple of other teams grabbing most of those kills, but Legion running into AKO. This is not a team you want to be fighting. Looks like K9 Esports going to be eliminated by GM Remy on the other side of the map. That's a big surprise, but also protects GM Remy from losing that 2nd place.
And it also allows AKO Ultraman to rise up to the top, but not if Legion can have a say about that. Seika with the initial drop. No kill coming through just yet. Seika very quickly repositions as they know the players of AKO will be coming through for that pickup, and he manages to finally get rid of Roy. Tacula from the back. Chessman dropped onto the ground as well, but Too Fast pulls out the grenade launcher, knocking down a player. Mickey taken out by Lemons. Mag 7, and that auto shotgun will be the best gun in the current meta to annihilate all of your opponents, and Wasik Philippines get taken out of the equation as AKO Ultraman still stand their ground. Legion doing a great job staving off all of these flurry of attacks, but Too Fast now, by some luck, finds Lay running straight to him, and Axel goes in for the finisher to take out Legion Alpha.
Oh, I was worried there for AKO. I thought they were going to leave that fight hurting, but thankfully they're still alive. They've got 4 kills under their belt as well, so now this is an opening for them to chase that 3rd place because K9 got removed from the match.
Look at this fight.
Oh my goodness.
Look at this fight. It's
This is
Anxiety
massive.
going up against GM Remy. Just one bridge to play around with, one grenade being popped out, and the vehicle will just ride past them just so that they can avoid all of those
Chessman's down.
engagements. Few red Chessmen. It is going to be Aguila with a great nade onto Toby as well. Players of Anxiety losing out little by little.
Anxiety
Remember, GM Remy needs 20 points more than Anxiety, and picking up 10 points just through kills alone makes it so possible. GM Remy, can they do the impossible? It seems like they're on the way there. Orange Esports from the back, they need to hustle up a little bit as well, but GM Remy looking for that circle and potentially the championship as well.
Absolutely, but okay, so here's the thing. They need to offset those 9 points that Anxiety died with, right? So that's going to be 29 points?
29 points.
That's
very possible.
That's a big ask, but yes, very possible. So they're sitting on 10 points right now, which is the 10 kills, but we are not going to include placements yet because, again, the game hasn't finished. But I don't know. It's a big ask. I can see now why GM Remy are trying to grab all these kills. They are so aggressive.
They're getting it, Aguila!
They
manages to
they
shut
need
down
more.
Rosso X as well. Because now, the next one to be picked off. Aguila, can he find him inside of that one small little compound? Decos finds a little bit of solace. AKO Ultraman now the next challenges for the players of GM Remy to potentially eat up or get eaten by. And one thing that
Keep
can save them
looking.
is ORV, who managed to meddle with this engagement first. If ORV strikes AKO, that's going to be the distraction, and GM Remy can eat them up, but Retools gets put down onto the ground. Wise shot by Lemon!
Oh, Retools!
Riptide Rhythm,
Can they get
Riptide
the pickup?
Rhythm.
I don't think they're going to lose them. Nope, GM Remy, they will be able to get that pickup.
And Retools now, once again, for the pressure. But AKO, too fast. Groza in hand. One of the best assault rifles to hold
Aguila
in
going
your
down.
arms. And it will be the Axel with the long left-hand side flank. GM Remy. If AKO Ultraman manages to prevent GM Remy right here, right now, they give away the win to Anxiety. But either way, the Malaysians will have no say whatsoever, as this tournament has been absolutely dominated by the Filipinos. It's either going to be Anxiety or it's going to be GM Remy. Either way, the Philippines going to be alive tonight in the world of FreeFire. AKO Ultraman approaching GM Remy's spot, but the players of ORV still have an opportunity to medal.
AKO see them as well. Now, this is the problem, actually. GM Remy need these kills on ORV if they want to have those points.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is, what's happening with GM Remy? Are they focusing on
24 points already.
So GM Remy are focusing more on AKO here,
Yeah.
and I can totally understand, right? Because AKO, they did show that they are a threat. They will put pressure on GM Remy. So I think for ORV, they're going to play it patiently. Let these two teams eat each other up. And
GM Remy literally needs all the kills off of the battlefield. They cannot afford to allow AKO to kill ORV. They cannot afford to allow ORV to kill AKO. GM Remy needs everything. Can they do the impossible? Riptide Rhythm comes through, taken down by the players of AKO, but GM Remy doesn't take advantage just yet, and it will be a knock from Too Fast. But the kill, who gets the kill? GM Remy needs to strike. Too Fast steals that away. That has been prevented by AKO Ultraman. Anxiety can thank them. ORV Tyrants removed by AKO, and now they go for the big dogs, GM Remy themselves.
AKO, it looks like they're about to take this game. Remy is down. He will die. It's now down to Furher, but I don't think it really matters at this point. They just don't have the kills to take that first place. AKO, they are going to take the final booyah, but the question is this going to take that spot from K9?
Yeah, hey, AKO, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, they needed an extra 7 points to catch up with the players of K9 Esports, and I guess the answer is going to be yes, because they had an absolute breakout round. Good on them, because this is also the very first booyah for AKO Ultraman in the grand finals.
It's the best time to get that booyah as well. This is such an important booyah for the team. I think they did manage to take this spot away from K9, because remember, K9 died, I think, in 11th place.
Yeah.
So it's happening. They may have lost their spot. This is... Keep in mind, folks, yes, they're playing for top 6, but we're also playing for cash prize.
Yeah.
That's $1,000 for third place.
Absolutely right. And of course, everybody wants the pride for themselves as well. And GM Remy alongside the one and only Anxiety. The fight was between these two teams. Yes, the other squads kind of got a little close as well, right? We're talking about AKO Ultraman. We are also talking about K9 Esports. But unfortunately, this time round, AKO Ultraman was just a little too far away. And just when you thought GM Remy was on a breakout run to steal it away from Anxiety once again, because that's not the first time they would have been able to steal away the first spot, right? They showed it to us today, But unfortunately, AKO Ultraman, the Malaysian team that did not manage to find their full stride in the competition, finally manages to find it in the last match of the grand finals and prevent GM Remy from just blowing our minds. But either way, I have absolutely enjoyed every single game
AJ's
at
lost
the grand
it.
finals.
He
What a
lost
play,
it.
man.
Wow, I mean, this was such an explosive way to end the game as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the teams that needed the points the most made it to that final circle. But we are going to be looking at some really big changes on this leaderboard because I think we had some surprise teams just getting knocked out very early on. And I think most importantly, I want to see who's sitting in that 6th spot. Is it still hard to get?
It should be still hard to get. I don't think they got replaced just yet. But of course, we will be taking a peek at the overall leaderboards later on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Just going to watch these highlights.
Who's next? Kalahari Philippines needed, roughly about 7 to 8 points to overtake them in the 6th place, right? But they got taken out literally right after them.
I think it was 10th.
Yeah.
So they would have had 1 point for placements, and that would have been it.
Yeah, and obviously that's literally nothing, right? In the grand scheme of things, they needed to kind of like just back themselves up with a little bit of kills as well. But ORV, as they engaged with the players of Anxiety, this was the team that really put on a lot of hurt and damaged Anxiety to a point where they weren't really able to play their best of matches towards that finals.
Yeah. I think if you're GM Remy, you sort of have to look back as to what happened on Kalahari. The do-over that they would have needed is to grab at least a couple kills before they went down. But, I mean, considering what did end up happening in that matchup where they had a 3-team hot drop, and for them to be the losers, and the ultimate losers really, right? Because they lost 2 players at the very beginning of that fight. It just really hurt them that they weren't able to grab at least a couple kills before losing the squad. So it's just sometimes those bad rounds, it eats at you ultimately.
And I absolutely agree with you, right? And it's just so unfortunate that it's just that one round where they
just
got,
the one round.
Not only did they get hot drop, they got mega hot drop, right? They had to deal with 2 teams at the same time and they bombed out with 0 points. And I mean, if only that had been an average round.
Or they managed to trade, right? Like you're trading players.
Even if they'd taken about 6, 7 points, it wouldn't have mattered because they wouldn't have needed to hustle up so much because getting 29 points is no joke, right? You need to really put in so much of effort. You need 15 kills. No, you need how many? 17 kills.
70 kills plus the booyah.
Plus the booyah. And obviously that's asking a lot from any of the teams out there. So if only they had not misperformed, right? But obviously it wasn't their fault 100%. They kind of had to deal with this super hot drop, which they did not do in the greatest of fashion. And it's unfortunate. My heart goes out to GM Remy because of how close they were. And you could see them putting their heart into that final matchup as well.
Yeah.
It's so unfortunate.
Here's the good news, right? This is not going to be the end of GM Remy. We are going to see them coming into Season 2, so this team will not disband, they're not going to disappear, they're going to continue, and I know for a fact that we're definitely going to look forward to them because they've proven to us that they can play passively, but they can also play aggressively. We especially saw during that last round. And to be fair, you can understand why they didn't want to do it during the beginning of the day, right? Because it's such a risky way of playing the game. But I do believe we have an interview, AJ.
Absolutely. With Lemon from AKO Ultraman, let's see exactly what the boys have for us.
Assalamualaikum. Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
Okey, saya nak tanyalah banyak soalan tapi 3 je dia bagi. Apa yang berlaku orang cakap
sepanjang liga
liga. Saya nak cakap. Awak faham saya.
Saya faham.
Apa yang berlaku di sepanjang liga ni?
Final ni.
Yang final ni. Antara yang 2 hari ni.
Yang berlaku macam berlaku. Yang
adakah sebenarnya pasukan AKO Ultraman kena aim ataupun strategi yang dah digunakan sebelum ni tak berkesan?
Ataupun diburu lah.
Dia kena juga. Orang kaji orang punya rotation. Orang nampak kami kita orang punya corak pergerakan. So kita orang kena jaga ni, jaga.
Memang nampak banyak unlucky sebenarnya untuk AKO Ultraman.
Bagi nombor 2 takut
Bandi nombor 2 katanya. Kena bandi bunga. Kawan saya
Kena
kata
bandi bunga.
kalau bunga biasa tak berkesan, kena pergi ke belah Sabah Sarawak cari bunga rafflesia. Kena bandi bunga tu, insya-Allah okey.
Bunga eksotik lah.
Dia besar sikit.
Oh, besar tu.
Okey, jadi AKO Ultraman, boleh tak tahu selepas ini apa pula perancangan AKO Ultraman yang mana kita tahu banyak yang ingin dilakukan oleh pasukan AKO Ultraman?
Perancangan kita orang lepas ni fokus lah training, tengok balik yang game sebelum ni, mana-mana tim yang cuba aim kita orang, kita orang kaji balik, compare balik
Last
Sila.
Korang sangka tak boleh jadi macam ni?
Apa?
Korang sangka tak jadi macam ni? Macam maksudnya prestasi korang macam sebab dalam
berbanding liga.
Banding liga korang perform tau. Tapi bila final what happened?
Dia macam rezeki masing-masing kan, kita dah cuba yang terbaik. Kita dah bincang dah macam mana kita kena buat, tapi ada jadi, ada yang tak jadi. Dia macam tak delak dia tu lah, tapi kita orang redha kita orang terima.
Nampak tu. Orang kata dah buat yang terbaik dan selebihnya adalah tawakal.
Terbentuk dah. Itu yang kita boleh bagi.
Jangan menangis Excel belakang tu. Dah nampak ke atas ke belakang. Gantung. Excel pun nampak macam nak nangis tadi lah. Jangan nangis, sabar. Okey, tapi okeylah, yang terakhir pada kalian, ada tak apa-apa yang ingin Layman sampaikan kepada semua penyokong-penyokong pasukan AKO dan pastinya penyokong-penyokong Malaysia untuk pertandingan kita pada kali ini?
Okay. Untuk peminat kita orang, penyokong kita orang, walaupun kita tahu kita ada 3 tim je Malaysia, kita lawan 9 tim PH, dan tu je lah yang kita mampu buat. Minta maaf lah kalau membuatkan korang rasa macam tak puas hati ke apa, tapi terus support lah kita orang. Tu je kita orang boleh buat. Harap korang faham apa yang kita orang rasa dan teruskan support kita orang.
Saya bangga.
Saya
bangga sebab sekurang-kurangnya ada satu buyang kat Malaysia. Ada. Kalau orang kata ada.
Adanya.
Jadi okey, terima kasih dan tahniah Layman. Semoga berjaya di masa hadapan. Alright, thank you Layman.
Thank you, bye. Salam.
Ada juga.
Well, we see this disappointment in his eyes, and we understand exactly why, right? Because, I mean, Ikuto and team, they were right because they had a breakout round. AKO Ultraman were the best team during the league stages, but at the grand finals, they just didn't show up all that much.
Yeah, it's just the whole concept of grand finals. Sometimes teams just don't perform, and it could be from a variety of factors, right? It could be everyone holding back for the grand finals. It could be the pressure from being the top team going into the grand finals and you're just not able to play as well as you did during the groups. But very quickly, let's just take a look at the round standings, right? So GM Remy, second place. Yes, AKO Ultraman managed to get those 22 points. Is it going to be enough to take over K9? We will find out. GM Remy, though, not able to take that first place away from Anxiety. Anxiety were at least able to take home 9 points before bombing out. Divine were able to take 10 points home in third place, thankfully for them. And I think this is probably Divine's best placing, I think, over the course of the weekend.
Yeah, and you know, based on the numbers here, AKO Ultraman most definitely took over K9 Esports spot here. And Anxiety has managed to, you know, outdo their opponents without really doing much in that final circle, all thanks to AKO Ultraman, right? And I mean, once again, my heart goes out to GM Remy because this round, it was more than a decent round for them. 21 points without the Booyah is quite the solid performance on the side of GM Remy, but it was just 8 points short.
Yes.
And that's exactly what's so heartbreaking because in the previous round, they got absolutely nada because they got super hot dropped and taken out of the equation.
They got squashed.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's so unfortunate for a team that has been on form since the start of day number 2 for the grand finals. And in fact, they were on form yesterday as well, scoring 2 of those booyahs for themselves.
I mean, it's crazy because GM Remy ultimately got 5 booyahs.
Yeah.
And to think that they weren't able to get first place, like that's a sign in itself. But very quickly, let's take a look at the stats before we look at the overall standings to see who our top 6 teams are going to be. And that will be continuing on with a direct invite
Yes.
to Season 2. So AKA Ultraman, they did manage to at least snap up 10 kills for themselves with a total of 5,400 damage. So the fact that they were able to snipe a lot of these kills, it's a big sign here from AKO, but they did contribute quite a bit to these fights.
Absolutely right. And, you know, AKO Ultraman, at least they got to get it done at the very final round. But the champions of the competition will not be revealed just yet. Let's take it from the very bottom. Legion Alpha wrapping things up in the 12th spot, followed by ORV Tyrants in the 11th place and Divine with the 10th spot. Orange Esports unfortunately couldn't take good advantage of that situation, but only managed to equalize the points with Eva Continue and Who's Next. All three of these teams with 74 points apiece. Ridiculous, Daniel.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I mean, they were so close to getting hard to get. Not a great round for the team, but unfortunately one of those bottom teams just not able to really pull on through. But yes, hard to get, sitting in that 6th position. War6 Philippines really putting their finger out this grand finals, able to take home that 5th placing. And then we have K9 Esports who have dropped to 4th place. I think this one was a bit of a devastating move for the team, right? They were hoping to be able to continue on in that 3rd place, but it's just, you know what happened in that last round? Sometimes it just happens because AKO Ultraman, because of that booyah, because of all those kills, were able to secure that 3rd place, which means they also take home $1,000.
Yeah, but they were so close to that 2nd spot. GM Remy, unfortunately, bombs out. They managed to get the 150 points, but the winners, your champions of the FreeFire Snapdragon Pro Series Season 1, is the one and only Anxiety. Outdoing the players of GM Remy with their tenacity out there on the battlefield. 75 kills, the most at the grand finals, and not too shabby at all with their placement points. We all know who Chessman is, the one and only Jaboywa, alongside Dyron, Kanoho, Barba, as well as Toby. They were the ones who were the favorites to pick this up after their crazy performance yesterday, and obviously they carried that into a solid performance of day number 2 as well to wrap things up. What an insane grand final.
Yeah, and I think we always harp on about it, but it's just so important. Kills matter.
Yeah.
Yes. Of course, getting the booyah is going to guarantee you those 12 points, but at the end of the day, if you're consistent in placements, you don't even have to get the booyah.
Yeah.
If you're able to get a lot more kills on the competition, that's going to elevate you above everybody else.
Yeah.
So Anxiety just proving that kill points, having 75. I mean, who was the closest? I think it was like 68 kills, which that's a massive gap for kills.
Yeah, I mean, in the kills department, they did really well, right? But the one thing to scrutinize here is the strategy that GM Remy took on upon themselves.
Very safe.
To pick the high tier loot zones time and time again, right? It was just about time before another team thought that they needed it as desperately as well. That was exactly where things went downhill. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we've got an interview segment with the players of Anxiety. Let's throw it back to our Basagastas.
Pro Series FreeFire.
Sobrang saya po and nakaka-nervous talaga kasi di namin akalain na kami mag-champion itong gabi. And yes, nakakuha nga po namin.
Chessman said they're very much happy. They didn't actually expect for them to win the championship, but they're here and they won it, and they're very excited about it.
Mereka dia mengatakan sebentar tadi adalah mereka sangat gembira mereka dapatkan kemenangan dan mereka tak sangka yang mereka boleh sampai ke tahap ini. But I just want to know, Chessman. So during the last map, you guys were being cleaned up by GM Remy. Do you guys feel that GM Remy might be able to get more points than you guys during the last match?
Sa last map daw, Chessman, parang yung GM Remy nga daw, parang naki-clean up kayo daw nila. Sa tingin mo ba, na-feel nyo na ba na mas madaming points sila kaysa sa inyo sa pagkatapos ng last map nga?
Yes po, sobrang ginabahan po kami nung naubos po kami. Akala po namin talaga na sila na yung champion. Kaya ayun po, inabangan na lang po namin hanggang matapos yung game.
Chessman said they were very nervous because, as mentioned, they were getting cleaned up by GM Remy, but they just waited for the results, and yet again, they were happy that they resulted at the top.
Chessman sebentar tadi saya bertanya adakah dia risau tak? Dan Chessman kata memang dia risau sebab memang bila-bila masa saja GM Remy boleh potong. So anxiety. My last question to you is that during the league stage you guys managed to secure 6th place and now you guys are the champion. Is there any changes in your play style or is it like more training, more study that managed you guys to secure a champion?
Nung league stage daw, Chessman, parang 6th seed nga lang daw kayo pero ngayon nag-champion kayo dito sa Grand Finals. Ano bang nangyari? Ano bang mga inaba nyo sa strategy nyo, sa training nyo?
Yun nga po, ang nangyari po dahil sa league stage kaya kami nasa baba, nagkakayaan po mag-interview and yung finals po, sinabihan ko na po sila na ibigay na po lahat dahil nandito na nga po kami. Nandito na po para mag-champion dahil hindi pa po kami nakapag-champion sa big tournament.
Yeah. Chessman said during the league stage they felt that they weren't giving their all yet, but Chessman told his teammates here in the grand finals that we should just give it our all, and they haven't won a big tournament yet, and they felt like this is the tournament that you needed to win.
I see. Chessman sebentar tadi mengatakan mereka tak pernah menang big tournament. Akhirnya inilah kali pertama mereka berjaya untuk mendapatkan kemenangan dan mereka langsung tak menjangka pun mereka dapat sampai ke tahap ini. So, Chessman, my last question towards you, is there anything that you want to say to your family, to your friends, and of course to all anxiety fans?
Ano daw masasabi sa mga family, mga kaibigan mo, sa mga fans ng anxiety?
Unang-una sa lahat po, nagpapasalamat ako sa mga sumuporta sa amin lahat. And sa mga simula pa lang day 1, hanggang pa lang. Salamat guys. Hanggang sana sa dulo, supportahan niyo pa rin kami. Salamat po.
Yeah, Chessman said he just wanted to thank everyone for everyone that supported Team Anxiety, and he hopes that everyone still continues to support the team until in future tournaments.
So, apa yang Chessman katakan sebentar tadi adalah dia gembira dan dia ingin mengucapkan terima kasih kepada semua penyokong-penyokong anxiety dan terima kasih kerana terus menyokong anxiety sehinggalah ke hujungnya. So, alright, thank you so much Chessman and congratulations for anxiety to win the champions. Congratulations.
Wow.
Okay, I know anxiety is the winner there, but okay. Technically, I think we and the viewers were also pretty big winners because before this, we only got to see his one eye. So I'm guessing, assuming because they won, we got to see a little bit more of Chessman's face.
I guess.
We got two eyes and a nose this time. So I'm wondering, what do we need to do to get the whole face? Do they have to win the next tournament?
Speaking of winning, when winning matters, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is exactly when you can lean on our sponsors. Snapdragon Elite Gaming, bringing you guys all of this fantastic action.
Yes, and of course, finally, to round out the show, everything would not be possible without the energy that we have been given, right?
Absolutely.
From Monster Energy. Unleash the beast! The players had it, we had it, and hopefully our wonderful viewers also had it to watch these amazing games with us. But AJ, I actually cannot believe that we are finally at the end of the road here. We've crowned our champions, we've found our top 6 teams that are going to be going on through to Season 2. Do you have any final words? Before that, actually, speaking of Season 2, to all of our viewers, because Season 2 is happening, you're probably wondering, where am I going to get all this information from? Join our Discord group, because everyone that's in our Discord group will be notified first what the dates are, what is happening, who is competing. For all of it, go to Discord. And if you have any questions, you can ask the lovely admins. They'll be more than happy to help you there. But AJ, do you have any final words before you wrap up the show?
Absolutely right. I mean, Season 1 has been an absolute firecracker. We enjoyed all of the matches back to back. During the league stage, it was super fun. The grand finals was just on a whole other level. But it's going to be nothing in comparison to what we've got in store for you guys in Season 2. Because jacking up the prize pool also means the interest from the much, much bigger teams will get piqued as well. And all of that curiosity will find its answers out there on the battlefield.
That curiosity is going to turn into some mighty fine matches. But AJ, thank you so much for joining me. It's been an amazing opportunity to cast with you. Hopefully, we're going to be doing this again very soon. But also to all of our viewers, thank you for watching the broadcast, and we will see you next time.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming and Monster Energy.
Look at my shine with the blow. This is my time with it though. This is my time to be way at the top. Me and my guys gon' pay out the block. I don't look like boss. Time's right, and I know they see us walking in the limelight. Promise you gon' wanna watch like a sci-fi. My guys are high risers, high tide. Might drown if you come to my side. I pledge allegiance for lifetime. My squad connected like Wi-Fi. We grind and you see the highlights. This my life. It ain't a game now. Me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way. You wasn't invited. Say you come to play. I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me. Don't step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Game now, me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now.